In the social media reaction genre, silly comments are considered especially heinous. At Dear Woke Christian, the dedicated content creators who investigate these horrible comments are members of an elite squad known as the Dusty Comments Unit. At Dear Woke Christian.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. So they are holding a press conference with Elon Musk to ask for his resignation. I was digging into it to see exactly what was going on. And they want to know how his work is impacting the working people, it says. So they're holding a press conference as well as a news conference to ask for his resignation, apparently. So we're going to dive right into it and pull this up. They have not started yet. They are going to start any second. So here we go. I'll pull that up. I mean, can they think of anything else? Just anything else. I'm going to make that smaller until it gets started. How's everybody today? This is just ridiculous. It really is on the ridiculous side. I hear a crackling and popping. Do you guys hear that? Hey, Bama. Been missing you lately. Good to see you. So if you're just joining, it says Congressional Press Conference holds an enlightening press conference to highlight how Elon Musk and Donald Trump is affecting the working people. And another one says that they are asking for his resignation. So I don't know what is true. So I'm kind of glad they're doing this. So we'll know what is true and what's not true. Hey, Adam, good to see you. New people are always welcome. Dive into the chat. This is the best live chat on the internet. So you will be welcomed in, I know. Hey, Amethyst Angel. How are you doing, hon? Hey, Jack. You know, we just got to pull out our salt for the salty tears. Use it to salt my food. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't say that. Okay. Let's see if they've posted an update about starting. Okay, they said they're about to bring it in. So, hey, Barbara, how are you? Thank y'all for coming in. What do you guys think is the hubbub about today? You think it's about him closing down the different branches of the government, or do you think they're going to give him praise for all that he's found and all the money that he saved? What do you think it's going to be about? We think it's going to be a little bit of both. They should quit now since they've saved so much money. Shut it all down. I don't know about all of it. I think we need some of it. I think some of it's kind of important. Like the one that runs disability, let's leave that one up. Get rid of Musk. Okay, who's going to do the audit? just like get a special auditor. Depends on whether Kennedy is on the dose. I don't know what that means. I'm plugging it and plugging it back in. Okay. Let's see if they've said anything about being late. Let me see if anybody else has the feed. Hold on a minute. Let's see. Um, it's got Trump meeting with Jordan's king, but I won't see Elon's thing. And nobody's live with it right now. Everybody's just sitting on it. I bet they're waiting on Elon to turn up, and I bet he's like, "No, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it on TV." Here's a briefing on it, but that's not the actual press conference. It's just a briefing. And it's PBS. I'm kind of mad at PBS. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know if I want to give PBS any publicity right now, because I found out they were giving money to like terrorist organizations and stuff. And I'm just not thrilled with PBS. And they were being funded by like USAID. So, yeah, I'm not thrilled with PBS. Nobody else has it live. Okay, we'll wait on them. Let's see. They got a bunch of people waiting. You think Elon is up to the task? I think it took a lot of skill, a lot of effort, and a lot of work to become the richest man in America. And I think I do wish he had some auditing skills. That's the only thing that bothers me. So I do wish he had a professional government auditor, if there is such a thing, with him, or like the most talented auditor in the world or in America with him, just to be by his side to say, maybe we should lean this way, maybe we should do it this way, kind of thing. That's just my feelings on it. He has AI. I hope you're joking, Miss Berry. But good to see you. They have AI. I get that they have AI, but hey, Flumpy. But AI still has a long way to go. Has Kash Patel been confirmed? Do we even know? No, he has not. They put off his vote for a week. Oh boy. There. Oh yeah, that's right. He did make a program. That's right. He talked about it on X. He did. You're right. Right. Hey, Micah or Mika. In my opinion, anyone photographing, covering their one or another in mosaic and gestures have no business in our financial affairs, and that's completely understandable. It's completely understandable. Still working with employees of the agencies. They are working with the program to pull out fraudulent spending. Right. That's my understanding as well. As of many Americans we know, it fraud. It's the biggest economy. Mm. DOJ has a bunch of folks, including the DOJ lawyers, ensuring everything they do is legit. Okay, Anthony, that makes me feel so much better. That makes me feel so much better. I didn't know that. That's fantastic to know, though. Because, I mean, some of these employees are rioting out in front of their buildings like they just come in and literally fired everyone. This is the way they're making it sound. And then you look into USAID and you find out that's not the case. They still have like 14, 15 employees. It's like, well, y'all made it sound different. Like they literally fired everybody. And that's not how it happened at all. Okay, Plumpy, this is a PG-13 channel, so take it down just a little. Yeah, Miss Bear, you're not wrong there. Of course, the fake news is all about fear mongering. Yeah, you're definitely not wrong there. Unabashedly, yeah. FEMA needs to go, someone said over in the other chat. I, 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 I don't think it needs to go. I don't think FEMA needs to go. Let me know what you guys think. I just think it needs to be kind of ripped apart and restructuralized, like just put back together. I think it's just over the years, it's just been kind of pieced here and there. I think it needs to be just kind of put back together. Oh, wow. So I guess he is there, and that's what they're waiting on getting set up. They, I guess, weren't expecting that. Why would you not expect that? It's literally a press conference to talk about him. Why would you not expect that? They offered resignations. They didn't fire everybody. Right. That was my understanding too, Amethyst Angel. He's getting better every day. It's going perfectly. Too good, actually. Too good? Yeah, well, they say if it's too good to be true, right? Elon will always do what you don't expect him to do. I'm not sure I understand what you mean about that. With each team? I was told that they actually weren't they didn't have to have a lawyer because they weren't legal, so they legally weren't entitled to a lawyer. I don't know if that's true. You might be absolutely right, but I don't know if that's true because I've heard of people flying out the next day, so that doesn't give them time to see a judge or a lawyer. But I guess if they have lawyers there with them, then that gives them time to talk to a lawyer. When FEMA is funding housing for illegal aliens and not funding hurricane, look, I'm in North Carolina. I can talk to you about the hurricane and fire devastation of U.S. citizens, and they got to go. Yeah. But like I said, I don't think they should go because they do some good, some good, some good. Um, but I do think they just need to be ripped apart, like down to the bitter bones and put back together with all new supervisors, managers, and staff. Um, just ripped apart and put back together. No laws are being broken, Anthony. That's understandable, and I think a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Funny how everything is instantly great now that Trump is in office. Left, right, up, down, red, blue, all crazy. You know, whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, you got to give him the fact that he is doing everything he said he was going to do. Everything. Border crossing is down 93%. He is deporting at a very high rate, over 1,000 people a day. The Gulf of Mexico is officially named the Gulf of America now. It's changed on some maps, and some maps it's not. It's changed on Google now, which I think is just crazy. That's crazy to me. Crazy. I mean, like, really, the Gulf of America? Let's take a picture of it. Let me find it. Yeah, look. Take a picture. Is that not wild? That's wild. The Donald. They do 99% bad and the 1% good. So they can say, oh, the humanity. Oh, it's so bad. Like, I don't get the Gulf of America thing. I'll be honest. I don't understand how that helps Americans move forward. I don't understand how that is such a good thing for humanity. I don't get that. Like, that seems like a waste of money and time and resources to me. Why? Why do that? One, it's not on our side. It's on their side. Why are we messing with that? I don't get it. Why are we touching that? It sounds lovely, but it has nothing to do with us. I'm not going to lie. It sounds great. No, I just can't wait to fly over it. But I don't understand. It's the American continent. That's kind of a good point. You got me on that one, Miss Berry. Y'all are trying for those gotcha moments on me, and you're getting me. They took back Pluto being the planet. We can take back a whole ocean. We can take back a whole ocean. This childish renaming the Gulf of Mexico, kind of what I was thinking. Like, I just don't see how that betters us as a country. And that's what he said. Everything he was going to do would be bettering and enriching us as America. America first on everything. I just don't see how that's doing that. Really? Oh, that's fantastic. Maybe we should pull that up and watch that while we're waiting on Elon to get his act together and come in. Let's do that. Let's watch that. Here it is.
Having to leave every 10 years because I've been watching this for so many years. It's nothing but trouble. Everyone's being killed. They're being robbed. It's like living in hell. And they're going to end up having a great home, great families that don't have to get mugged and killed and beaten up and harassed by Hamas and everybody else. And I know we'll be able to work something. And what you just said about the 2000 is fantastic. It's so beautiful. It's music to my ears. But we're going to be able to work something, and I know we'll be able to work something also with I believe, not 100%, but 99%. We're going to work out something with Egypt.
Mr. President, and actually, Mr. President, how is the U.S. going to own Gaza? Your White House has made clear taxpayer dollars won't be used for this. So what money are you going to use to buy Gaza?
We're not going to buy anything. We're going to have it. And we're going to keep it, and we're going to make sure that there's going to be peace, and there's not going to be any problem.
He's so cocky. Being powerful and strong is one thing, but he's really cocky.
And nobody's going to question it. We'll have lots of good things built there, including hotels and office buildings and housing and other things. And we'll make that site into what it should be. And the people from Gaza who wouldn't be able to be there for years, because you're talking about just to get it and prepare it. And to take care of all of the problems that currently it has. As you know, tunnels, and people are in those tunnels, and you have
Yeah, I
some
never thought of that.
good people and some bad people, and you may have hostages right now. You know, you have the hostages possibly there. They don't know where they are. And, you know, I have a Saturday deadline, and I don't think they're going to make the deadline personally. I think they want to play tough guy, but we'll see how tough they are. But it's going to be a wonderful thing. It's going to be wonderful for the Middle East. I think it'll turn the Middle East. I think you're going to have peace in the Middle East. You're going to eventually have peace in the Middle East.
Couldn't this deadline risk undermining the talks that you're having with the king today, and risk the kind of wider peace that you're trying
No,
to?
because we're not talking about a big situation. We're talking about something that can go very quickly. We're talking about, it's going to go quickly. It's not going to take a long time, okay? That's not going to take a long time.
When
You know bullies, you know what a bully is, right? You know, the bully, I've always, and I found it throughout my life, a bully is the weakest person. And they're bullies. Hamas is bullies. The weakest people are bullies. You know that, right? All right, go ahead.
Mr. President, you were saying that Palestinians will live somewhere else safe. Where exactly do you want them to live?
Well, it's not where I want them to live. It's going to be where we ultimately choose as a group. And I believe we'll have a parcel of land in Jordan. I believe we'll have a parcel of land in Egypt. We may have
Bring them here.
someplace else, but I
We're
think
getting
when
rid
we
of a bunch of
finish
people. Bring them
our
here.
talks, we'll have a place where they're going to live very happily and very safely. And, you know, don't forget, they only want to be on the Gaza Strip because they don't know anything else. They've never had an alternative. And they don't want to be on the Gaza Strip, but they have no choice. They have to be. And they're being killed there at levels that nobody's ever seen. No place in the world is like as dangerous as the Gaza Strip. They don't want to be there. They have no alternative. When they have an alternative, not one person will want to stay where they are. Nobody wants to stay there. They're living in hell. It's a death trap.
Mr. President, how do you know that the Palestinians don't want to leave their land? Some people say this is ethnic cleansing. You won't be able to force them to leave their land.
We're moving them to a beautiful location where they have new homes, where they can live safely, where they'll have doctors and medical and all of those things. And I think it's going to be great. Yeah, any questions?
King Abdullah, what do you think about the U.S. taking over the Gaza Strip? Do you want to see the U.S. own the Gaza Strip?
Well, I think, as I said earlier.
Well, just from what he said in the chat about we could drill if it's America, but we couldn't if it's Mexico, that sold me. That sold me completely because I didn't think about that. So that's why I talk to you guys about these things. So I understand completely, and I'm on board with Gulf of America. Really, honestly. So I thank you guys for your opinions.
The president is looking at Egypt coming to present their plan. As I said, we will be in Saudi Arabia to discuss how we can work with the president and with the United States. So I think let's wait until the Egyptians can come and present it to the president and not get ahead of ourselves.
And is there a parcel of land in Jordan that you're willing to have Palestinians?
Well, I think what we said, I have to look at the best interests of my country. I think the president is very happy that we do this thing with 2,000 children as quickly as possible. And again, I believe that the president is looking forward to getting a group of us Arabs here to discuss the overall plan.
And last question, the 2,000 children, are those from the Gaza Strip?
Absolutely, from the Gaza
Are
Strip.
you willing to change your mind, Mr.
That's
President?
from the Gaza Strip, the 2,000.
Are you willing to change your mind if you hear the Egyptian and the Arab plan end of the month? If they present you something different, are you open to
I
another
think
plan?
we sort of have gone down the line. We know pretty much what is going to be presented. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be magnificent for the Palestinians. They're going to be in love with
They
it.
identified them within 30
I did
seconds.
very well with real estate. I can tell you about real estate. They're going to be in love with it.
But Mr. President, doesn't concern you that moving 2 million people from
It's a
there?
very small number of people relative to other things that have taken place over the decades and centuries. It's a very small number of people. And they're living a terrible life. Look at the way they're living now. Nobody's living like that in the entire world. They're living under buildings that are mostly fallen down and will continue to fall down. And they're living under. People are being killed every day. The conditions are horrible. There are no conditions anywhere in the world that are worse than the Gaza Strip right now.
But don't you have
Mr.
concern
President,
that you
you
can
said all
destabilize
hell-
Jordan and
You said all
Egypt?
hell will break out if all the hostages are not released on Saturday. What did you mean by that? And are you encouraging Netanyahu to walk away from this deal? Have you talked about this with him?
So I've looked at what, at
You
the
know what he
condition of
means.
people
Can't say it.
coming
You know
out
what he
of
means.
the hostage situation, and it's horrible. I looked at the before and after yesterday. 3 young men. One is dead now, as you know, the older gentleman who died, which everybody said he was alive and well. He's dead. But the 3 young men, and I looked at them
I kind of like it.
from a short while ago, and I looked at them now. They're emaciated. They look like Holocaust survivors. They looked. I mean, they'll get better, but they're in rough shape. They were treated really badly, and we've heard things from them since. And I think the reason that Hamas is playing so cute is because they saw the reaction to these 3 people that came out, and the other ones. Look, the one young lady had her hand blown off practically, and they were not in great shape either. But she's missing her fingers and a big part of her hand. You know what she did? She was stopping a bullet that was aimed at her. She went like that, and it blew off her hand. Now, I think I think they want time, because I think the people that they have living are in such bad shape, because they're sending the most healthy people out, because they don't want to send the least healthy people out. And there was an uproar when they saw the people from yesterday. So these people are, so I don't want to do 2 and then we do another 2 in another week and then we do 4 in 3 weeks. No. They either have them out by Saturday at 12 o'clock or all bets are off.
Mr. President.
Mr. President, would you still consider withholding aid to those countries if they don't accept your plans to accept?
Well, I don't want to say that, because we've had such a good relationship and we're doing so well just in the short time that we've been talking. I mean, the king just made a statement. I didn't ask him to do that, about literally saving 2,000 young children from the Gaza Strip. We didn't know about that. You didn't know about that. Nobody did, except for the king and his son. I assume you told your son, right? And I just thought it was great. No, I think we'll do something. I don't have to threaten with money. We contribute a lot of money to Jordan and to Egypt, by the way, a lot, to both. But I don't have to threaten that. I think we're above that. I do believe we're above that. So.
Would you consider other countries, not Jordan and Egypt? There was talks about Indonesia, Albania, other places.
Yeah, sure. And we have other countries that want to get involved. We have a lot of people that want to get involved. There's a great sense of wanting to help the Palestinians. There's a lot of good countries out there, people that rule those countries with big hearts, and this gentleman is at the top of the list.
And if they don't want to leave, how are you going to force them, Mr. President?
Oh, they're going to be great. They're going to be very happy.
Can you?
Your Majesty, should we
May I-
expect that the
may I-
Jordanian response would be part of a coordinated Arab response?
The response will be from a multitude of countries, Arab, international. I know the Europeans want to step in. And again, we'll probably have to look to the help of the United States to make sure that COGAT, which is the clearing agency on the Israeli side, makes it as efficient as possible. Because 2,000 kids, the best way to get to them is by helicopters and get them straight to our institutions. I also believe that quite a few countries would also probably like to take some of those kids and have them treated in their hospitals. So we hope to launch this ASAP.
Yes, and that's right. This should have been done by the Biden administration, but they didn't do anything. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. So this should have been done by the Biden administration. This should have never happened, because October 7th would have never happened. If I were president, 0 chance of happening. You wouldn't have had that whole mess where the Middle East got blown up, and you wouldn't have had Ukraine and Russia fighting. That would have never happened. And by the way, we're making good progress there, I think. I really think we're making some very good progress.
Mr. President, you said before that the U.S. would buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza.
We're not going to have to buy. We're going to have Gaza. We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
What does that mean?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it. We're going to get it going eventually where a lot of jobs are going to be created for the people in the Middle East. It's going to be for the people in the Middle East, but I think it could be a diamond. It could be an absolute tremendous asset for the Middle East. And you're going to have peace. It's going to bring peace in the Middle East. Gaza, the way it is right now, every 10 years, you're going to have the same thing happening. I've watched it so long, all the death and destruction of Gaza. The civilization's been wiped out in Gaza. No, it's going to be a tremendous thing. It's fronting on the sea. It's going to be a great economic development job. It's going to put people to work, a lot of people to work. And those people are all going to be from the Middle East.
And just to follow up with one on that for King Abdullah, can you clarify again, sir, how do you feel about the U.S. taking Gaza, as the president said?
Well, again, this is something that we as Arabs will be coming to the United States with something that we're going to talk about later to discuss all these options.
And Mr. President, take it under what authority? It is sovereign territory.
Under the U.S. authority.
And Mr. President, would you seek to personally develop property in Gaza after this happens?
No, I've had a great career in real estate.
Mr. President,
You know, when you've done what I've done in the last number of years, including the 4 years that we should have been doing something else, frankly, because people see that now for sure. But when you've done what I've done, you can just do more good for people when you're president. When you're president, we can do things. This is all things that should have been done, but actually things that shouldn't have had to be done. Gaza, absolutely, it would have been so great if the Biden administration would have started this. But actually, in all fairness to them, they should have never let it happen. It did happen, and because of the fact that they let this happen, this catastrophe of October 7th, something like this becomes practical and very real, meaning the development and all of the things that I've talked about with respect to the Gaza Strip. If you didn't have the October 7th catastrophe, and it was a horrible catastrophe, then probably you wouldn't be talking about that. But the only thing I can say is this is going to bring stability and peace to the Middle East. And ultimately, when it's developed, which will be in quite a while from now, because we want to let things calm down. But when it's developed, it's going to bring tremendous numbers of jobs to the Middle East, including the people of your country.
So
What if it does not bring peace to the Middle East? There are many Palestinians, even though you say that everything is going to be beautiful, everything is going to be lovely, they're not going to want to go back. There are going to be people who want to go back and feel like that it is their right to do that. You haven't said, will there be any type of repercussions or anything that happens?
We don't think that's going to happen. We think people are going to be very happy, thrilled. A lot of those people that you're talking about are going to end up maybe living there and maybe working there, but it'll be in a different form. We have had tremendous support for this project, and we think the biggest asset of the project is going to bring peace ultimately to the Middle East. All right.
Mr. President, one last question.
Go ahead, behind you, and you've asked enough.
Mr. President, one of your promises on the campaign trail is to bring peace to the Middle East. It was a promise to your Arab voters here. The Arab voters in the United States oppose this. What do you say to that?
Well, you know, if you look at Michigan, where we have a large Arab population, as you know, I was just telling the king that
I found it. It's on over here. I'm going to grab it real quick. It just came on over here. Let me grab it. I'm sorry. I hear somebody screaming already. So headphone warning. Here we go.
With the American people, unelected bureaucrats have been funneling their hard-earned taxpayer dollars to ridiculous and even malicious causes. DOGE is doing the hard work to uncover the truth and make our government work for the people rather than funding policies that are actively hurting them. For example, Dr. Rush, in your testimony, you state that the recommendations from the Department of Government Efficiency will exacerbate public health crises. How is that the case when DOGE is advocating to defund EcoHealth Alliance, which was involved in the research in the Wuhan lab that created coronavirus, that created this global pandemic that killed people and ended the livelihoods of many others.
My statement was in reference to across-the-board firings without specific
I think government employees have been given the option. They can have
and those that will be given the option will be more competitive on a private market basis than those that stay. So then you'll be losing your best public employees.
Were our best public employees at the Wuhan lab of virology? Were those our best employees? Was that where our funding was going, to the best and the brightest who started a global
when
pandemic?
you make a 20% across the cut without any
I think there's been a lot of inefficiencies, and I'm excited to see where this goes and the exposure of that. And Dr. Resch, the last administration weaponized NGOs to aid and abet illegal aliens across and within the interior of the United States. We saw millions of taxpayer dollars being funneled to NGOs that were spent on plane and bus tickets, hotel rooms, and even to coach illegal aliens on how to illegally stay in the country. Heck, we have a congresswoman who is currently coaching illegal aliens on how to stay in the country, what terms to
We're looking at you, AOC.
use, even if they are untruthful. Now, Dr. Resch, how does transporting millions of unvetted illegal aliens into our country make America safer? And how does stopping the funding of those NGOs harm America?
That is tangential and irrelevant to myself.
Oh, it is not irrelevant. Let's go through the list of relevancy, shall we? When we have open borders allowing millions of illegal aliens coming into our country
It's both.
unvetted.
It's
then
both.
The
But yeah,
relevancy
you're right.
is
It is
in
her.
terms
But it's
of
both.
Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Morin, Ruby Garcia, Elizabeth Medina, and I could go on and on and on and on with the American citizens.
I like the
killed at the
congresswoman
hands of
from South
illegal
Carolina.
aliens.
She's
So
kind of.
I think it's pretty
she's kinda
relevant to
thug.
say we need to look into these NGOs and what they are doing with these unvetted illegal aliens coming into our country and remaining into our country. Would you agree? Does that bring some relevancy to the topic, sir?
Not
He
to
doesn't know what you
cuts
said.
across
You-
the American public service.
Well, but
Who
we're
is
also
this guy?
talking
Like, I've
about
seen him
the
before, but I don't really know
funding
who he
that
is.
Going out. We are cutting spending at an executive level, and I hope that we codify all of that here within these chambers to ensure that it doesn't go out again. Now, in your testimony, you also mentioned that DOGE proposals reflect an agenda to dismantle professional government. According to you, this is fundamentally at odds with the principles of democratic governance. In November, President Trump won by a decisive mandate, promising to maximize governmental efficiency and productivity. And how are actions, these actions fulfilling the president's campaign promises, fundamentally at odds with the principles of democratic governance? And while my time is running out, I want you to answer that, sir. But we hear about unelected folks. Democrats didn't even get a chance to vote for their own presidential candidate in their primary. So don't talk to me about unelected people actually being involved in the decisions in this country. But I would like to hear how that's at odds, sir.
I have no response to that.
Well, that's kind of
Chairman, the gentlelady.
I yield. Thank you.
Chair, now recognize Mr. Kassar. We're going to recognize Mr. Kassar, then Mr. Jordan, and then at the request of the witnesses, we're going to take a brief bathroom break. So Chair recognize Mr. Kassar for 5 minutes, and then after him, it'll be Jordan, and then a brief 10-minute break.
Chairman, I don't know why Republican members even show up to this committee or to Congress when it's clear who's really in charge of the federal government right now. And that's Elon Musk. And at the beginning of this hearing, when we asked our Republican colleagues if we could bring Mr. Musk to this committee, Republicans ran cover for him. They want him hiding in the White House tweeting, and they voted unanimously that they didn't want to hear from Elon Musk. Supposedly, this committee is supposed to be about rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. And I agree. So let's talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. The biggest fraud in US government right now is Elon Musk pretending to care about efficiency when what he cares about is taking your taxpayer dollars, taking your Medicare, taking your Medicaid, taking your Social Security, and enriching himself and his billionaire buddies with it. The biggest abuse in the US government right now is Elon Musk getting $154 billion richer since the election just a few months ago, while consolidating unprecedented power over your money and your government. Mr. Musk invested $227 million in Trump's election and is making billions off of it. That's waste. That's fraud. That's abuse. And speaking of waste, another waste is my House Republican colleagues showing up because they waste their time. They won't speak out about any of these abuses against working people and taxpayers. This is the Oversight Committee, and there are 17 independent inspectors general. They are watchdogs. They are the oversight arm of the federal government. And Trump and Musk illegally fired 17 of them, including a watchdog that was investigating one of Musk's companies. And what I've heard from House Republicans is either silence or defending that kind of behavior. You guys know that it's embarrassing and it's wrong, and that's why you voted to not have Musk here before us. Elon Musk is not doing anything to make government more efficient for working people. He's using his position to more efficiently raid your taxpayer dollars to enrich himself and his friends. I'm told that this hearing is about right-sizing government. So I propose that we start right-sizing our federal government by firing the most dangerous man in it, and that's Elon Musk. To protect our taxpayers, we should fire Elon Musk. To keep American Social Security numbers private, fire Elon Musk. To protect Medicare and Medicaid, fire Elon Musk. To save schools and our jobs, fire Elon Musk. And to protect the idea that American people have a government for the people and by the people, and not for the ultra-rich and by the ultra-rich, we must fire Elon Musk. Attacking working families is nothing new for him. Mr. Musk's biggest factory sits in my district. And the first thing I did after I was elected to Congress was to call for an OSHA investigation into the injuries and deaths of workers building that very factory. Those are investigations to be launched by the Department of Labor, where later today, we're hearing that Musk's minions are going to go and maybe start shutting down parts of that key agency that is built to oversee big corporations and defend the interests of workers. Musk's companies like Tesla have been sued and found liable for many labor violations. Screwing over working people is just part of the game for him. He has been found liable for improperly giving not safety training to construction workers and withholding wages. OSHA fined Tesla for exposing workers to hazardous chemicals without proper training and monitoring. OSHA opened up investigation into deaths of workers at a Tesla Gigafactory.
Thank you so much, Amethyst Angel.
SpaceX, another one of Musk's companies.
He's not on the government payroll, liars. Those kids aren't thinking about citizen Social Security numbers. You're right, they're not. You can't fire someone who's not on the payroll. They actually do work for the government. Doge is part of the government, but they are making six figures. They don't need the $1,000 that's in your checking account.
Companies to Americans' data. Unlimited power to choke off funding meant for Americans and the programs that people count on. Enough is enough. But thankfully, our country isn't one of Musk's companies. Our country is ours. A billionaire whose career is built on the abuse and exploitation of workers should not have unlimited power in this country. He should be before this committee. And when he comes before this committee, if somebody wants to do the right thing, all you got to do is turn on your mic and say, fire Elon Musk. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Before I recognize Mr. Jordan, Ms. Boebert, did you have a...
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a document I'd like to submit for the record.
Proceed.
So this is a press release from the White House at USAID. Waste and abuse runs deep, and just some examples: $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for transgender comic books in Peru, $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala, $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. And these are just some of the many, many examples, and I would like to submit that to the record.
Without objection.
Thank you.
So ordered. Chair now recognizes the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Schatz, is the federal government too big? Yes, the expenditures certainly are, which makes the entity itself too
$7
big.
trillion in annual spending, 400 agencies and sub-agencies, 1,000 boards and commissions. I think anyone, maybe even the people on the other side of the aisle, I think anyone would say, almost everyone would say, that's too big. And when you have big government, does big government have a tendency to spend taxpayer money on stupid things?
That's part of the reason that we're here, and it's one of the things that Citizens Against Government Waste has been documenting for many, many years.
You've been highlighting this for like 100 years. I mean, I've known you for a long time.
Organization,
God bless you for persisting.
Organization, 41 years. I've been there 39.
And when you spend money, when you're the person spending money on something stupid, you just assume, you would just kind of hope that people don't really notice that, right? If you're in the government and you're spending, what did Miss Bober just say? 32,000 for a transgender comic in Peru, 16
I heard about that. That was crazy. He was talking about it being on his phone when he was at a party.
I don't notice that.
And his friends just started jumping up and down.
Well, that's part of the
like,
problem. Is
what?
that taxpayers don't know exactly how the money is being spent because there is not the transparency that, for example, Iowa, Ohio, Arizona, and other states have. And we should be able to push a button and find out how your tax dollars are being.
And so it's understandable why everyone on the left, all the proponents of big government, all the supporters.
Julie, I'm sorry, but that's just not true. I am on disability legitimately. I have chronic lupus. I get a food card every month legitimately. And I am getting it this month. I just got my confirmation. It's not true. And I'm not going to let you come in here and spew that fake news nonsense and fearmonger, because that's exactly what that's doing. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to let you do that. So if you do it again, I will delete your statement. So just don't do it.
Of a big government, all the people getting the taxpayer money
so
from big government. Why it's understandable why they are attacking Elon Musk, because he's pointing out the stupid things that government spends money on. Is that fair to say?
Well, he's not making it up. And in fact, many of the recommendations he's making.
Great point. He's not making it up. He's citing every single thing.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's there. I mean, look, the Department of Education has been something that was recommended by President Reagan to be eliminated, and many others since then. U.S. Digital Service, U.S. Doge Service, Digital Service was duplicating the private sector.
I hear you, man.
At GSA. So he's already helped save money by doing that.
So Democrats, instead of saying, yeah, we should probably not spend $32,000 for a transgender comic in Peru. Yeah, it's probably not a wise expenditure of taxpayer money to have Sesame Street played in Baghdad, Iraq. It's on all that list. Instead of saying we should figure out how we stop that, they're saying, no. We got to stop the guy who's pointing out the stupid things that government spending money, taxpayer money, the money that people in the 4th district that I represent, their money on these kind of stupid things. Now it's being reported that there's something even maybe worse going on. It's been reported today that media outlets were paid millions of dollars by USAID. Now the media outlets are saying this is for subscriptions to their publication, but I find that interesting. And one of the particulars that's pointed out, the FDA paid Politico $517,000 for 37 subscriptions. That seems kind of high to me. Does that seem that way to you, Mr. Schatz?
Doing the math quickly, that seems excessive, yes.
Yeah, that seems a lot for now. Maybe there's some explanation here. Maybe this, maybe Politico is so darn important that it costs that much and taxpayer money should be spent. But I find that interesting, particularly $517,000 for 37 subscriptions when it's the press, the government paying the press. Does that in some way maybe jeopardize what the press does, the free press that we're supposed to have in our great country?
Well, it's certainly something that taxpayers probably didn't know until today. I didn't know that.
Didn't know until today. And
Oh, he's the owner of Politico. I'll just look that
kind
up.
of money, 37 subscriptions, will give you $500,000. Might Politico write favorable things about the particular administration who's paying that money? I don't know. I'm not saying that happened, but you can sure look at some of the things that's been reported by
President. I'm
Politico,
sorry, President.
and you can't help but ask that question. Governor Reynolds, I got like 50 seconds. You came all the way from the great state of Iowa. I'll give you a chance to comment on any of the things I raised there. But I do think this is amazing. The guy who's pointing out the stupid things the government spends money on, that's who gets attacked, versus no, let's fix the stupid things and not spend money on them. I just don't get that. And I think the American people have common sense, and that's how they look at it. My guess is, I know lots of good people in Iowa, they have lots of common sense. That's probably how they look at it.
That's exactly how they look at it. $36 trillion in debt, $2 trillion annually being added to the debt. Kevin and I have 11 grandchildren. I want them to have the same opportunity I did growing up, and I appreciate President Trump trying to right-size the ship and get it back in line. And I don't hear any answers to the contrary. What are their answers except for leave everything the way it is? And that's not working. So thank you.
That's not what you did, Iowa. You didn't leave everything the way it is, and you changed things. and taxpayers got more efficient government, which is exactly what we want. I yield back. Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. Pursuant to the previous order, the committee will recess for 5 minutes to accommodate a witness request. The committee stands in recess. This Chairwoman Green from the state of Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My Democrat colleagues are reacting with manufactured outrage over Elon Musk and the Doge team going in and cleaning up the federal government. They're saying the American people did not vote for this, but I would like to correct that record. On July 13th, when President Trump was shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, Elon Musk got behind President Trump and he endorsed him. And then on August 19th of 2024, this is before the election.
Is it a
Elon
repeat?
Musk posted on
Why
his
would
own
they do
account,
that?
"I
Say
am
it's
willing to
live.
serve." And that right there says Doge. This was not something that was created.
Okay. Sorry then. My bad then. Look, Dear Road Christians Live. I love that guy. Okay, let's see. Press conference, Elon Musk. Well, we'll watch the pre-conference press. Oh wait, I had this pulled up. That's right. This was live. Here, let's watch this. Stop screen. Sure. Here it is. This is live. No, cancel. Oh no, did I miss it? No. Why is there a story here? I've got YouTube Premium. What's this little story? What is this? Oh, they're just introducing them. Yeah, we don't care about any of this. Can you just get to the press conference?
Bill, which we're still trying to get going. We've got a continuing resolution, a disaster supplemental, Water Resources Development Act, and a Social Security bill, all supposedly going to be processed by the end of the week. And I just want to make one observation about especially National Defense Authorization Act, which, as I've told you before, has been available literally since June when it came out of the Senate Armed Services Committee. And Senator Schumer and the Democrats have stalled, not put it on the floor, not prioritized our national security at a time when we have ships that can't get out to sea, planes that can't fly, and a military readiness problem that seriously needs to be addressed. That is not going to happen next year. I can assure you that national security will be a big priority. President Trump campaigned on national security and making sure that our military is ready to confront the threat matrix that we face around the world today. And he will have the full support of us in the Congress to make sure that those important national security priorities are addressed in the upcoming year. So it's regrettable that this is where we are and that we have this pile up, but it was the Democrats' own making. And now we're going to have to do our best to try and sort through it and find our way out of it and get into next year, where we're going to be in the majority and we will set the priorities, and they will be very different priorities.
Well, Republicans will restore and reassert America's strength in the world. That means
This is old too. I thought it said 211. It did say 211. Y'all stop trying to troll me. Elon. Learn how to spell Elon. Elon Musk. What kind of weird name is Elon? I'm just telling you, that's a weird name. All right, let's filter. Thank you, Amethyst Angel. Did you hear the military signups are exploding? Yes, I did. I heard them talking about it this morning, about the Army, that there were lines out the door in the Army recruiting stations around my state anyway, to the point where they were having to call in National Guard, which that's fantastic. You know, that's really just amazing. No, that's not the announcement, but that's really amazing to hear. Let's see where The one I had pulled up is that they're still just waiting for him to come up. Oh, okay. They said starting in 5 minutes. Okay, great. Starting in 5 minutes. Wonderful. I think we can wait 5 minutes. Let's see what the far left is saying about this press conference while we're waiting 5 minutes. Shall we?
You first. When a judge blocks an order, what does that really mean? Right? Like in people's minds, they're thinking, you know, the Doge team are putting their pencils down, grabbing their laptops and walking out. I'm guessing that's not happening.
Well, what it means is that the judge is saying that what's going on is illegal and that there needs to be a stop put to it. And we're now headed towards, this is in some ways what we saw 8 years ago at the start of the first Trump administration, when he faced legal hurdles, legal pushback on some of his early orders and his early actions then. So in some ways, there's some echoes of what we're seeing play out 8 years ago.
But like literally real time, the judge is saying someone needs to stop them. Who's that person? What does it look like? Because 8 years ago, there wasn't a J.D. Vance who was saying the courts can't do this. It was a whole different cast of characters.
It's a good question. I don't have a good answer for you on that one.
Totally fair. All right, David, the Republicans used to be about law and order, right? That was their jam, law and order and the Constitution. How does anyone see any of this except a clear grab of power, absolute power, and doing
He's the president of the United States.
Yeah, well, I think we have to differentiate between rhetoric and action. And so far, the Trump administration hasn't defied any court order. J.D. Vance has fired off a tweet on X, and he likes to fire off tweets a few times a day. So does President Trump. But I think until we see the president himself talk about defying court orders, and until we see the administration do it, and I'm not saying people should assume they won't.
Guys, I'm going to put it on 1.5, so it's going to talk a little fast so we can get through it because I want to hear all this.
That I think we really have to pay attention to how they are handling these court orders and how the agencies impacted are handling these court orders. And to Alex's point, there's just a lot we don't know, right? We don't know really how the Doge team is operating, who they're accountable to on a daily basis, whether they're getting pre-approval for the actions they're taking, or they're simply.
Trump has said many times that they are coming to him directly, that Elon is coming to him directly, and that they come to Elon.
Acting and then updating the White House, and the White House is signing off after the fact. We don't know if they're asking to do things that the White House is saying they shouldn't do, or that cabinet secretaries are saying they shouldn't do. And so there's just a lot of, as Donald Rumsfeld might have said, known unknowns here. And we have to sort of figure this out before we turn it into something it's not.
Yeah, but I'm guessing the likes of Donald Rumsfeld also believe things like your word is your bond. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but are you a parent, David?
Really?
Of course.
So this idea, we have to separate the rhetoric from the action. Imagine saying that to our children. Isn't your word your bond? Isn't what you say representative of what you do?
Well, not in this administration. And not
should we be okay with that?
I didn't say you should be okay with it. I'm just telling you what it is. I'd also point out that we've seen this before. FDR put forward a lot of different initiatives and legislation that were slapped down by the courts. And eventually they sort of came to an unofficial compromise after FDR threatened to pack the courts. There's just a lot going on here that we need to figure out so that we can pinpoint what the actual problem is. And I think the biggest thing we need to really figure out is what the administration wants to do with various agencies when it comes to how they handle funding and civil service employees following statute. And one of the things that you probably won't see, because the judiciary is happy to exert its power and the executive is very happy to exert its power. But Article 1, the Supreme branch, not just a co-equal branch of government, but the Supreme branch, the legislative, doesn't seem to have any interest in controlling either of the other two branches and exerting its checks and balances. That's been true with Democrats. It's now true with Republicans. And that, I think, is part of the problem here.
Dan, let's talk about Senate Majority Leader John Thune. When he was asked about Vice President Vance's comments, he basically said, the judges are the referees of our government, and they have an important role to play. Is that the most we're going to get out of our Republican lawmakers? Anything stronger than that?
What's wrong with that answer?
I think I saw a meme on X that compared that moment to the speech by Connor in Succession when he tried not to praise or denigrate a controversial employee. It was word salad for sure. And you want to hear something stronger from the leader of the Senate majority at a time when there are these questions about constitutional authority and being a check on power. So I think maybe we will get there at some point, but we're certainly not getting those hard questions today.
All right, Mark, unfortunately for you, you're the fourth up at bat. Take everything these boys have said. If you're the Democrats right now, what do you do?
Well, you try and enforce the Constitution, and I think
that the point here is that Trump is running. I mean, you don't have to look at the rhetoric. Do look at the action. Look what he's doing with Congress. Look what he's doing with statutes that he's running roughshod over and doesn't seem to think apply to him. In your previous notion about co-equal branches of government, Trump clearly doesn't think he's a co-equal member. He's testing the limits of executive authority. He's running roughshod over Congress, and now he's running roughshod over the courts. And I think there's absolutely every indication that they're just going to defy whatever the courts say and just go on and do what they're doing. And just say, okay, sue me, take me to court, find us in contempt. We don't care. I'm not as secure as David is in the notion that, just because it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen. I think every indication, every sign that we see is that they're going to press this to the absolute limits,
please, guys.
And run roughshod over not only the Congress, but the courts and the Constitution.
Mark, what happens if Elon Musk starts to win over public support, right? People are starting saying, well, we need to get rid of government waste and fraud. And he's, drib-drabbing out a little story here that's unverified, an example there. And people say, oh, I don't understand government at all. And he starts to get support while the framework of our three equal branches of government crumble.
Yeah, it reminds me, Steph, of many years ago, a mentor, when I was trying to figure out what to do in politics after an unsuccessful race. He said, listen, if you think you know anything or you've seen anything about politics, go to Louisiana and get your PhD. And I did that in the 80s in an epic governor's race against a guy named Edwin Edwards. And this is just shades of what's going on now. Edwin Edwards was the most corrupt and one of the most loved politicians in Louisiana history. Carried around bags of cash, but people loved him because they felt like he was corrupt on their behalf. And I think that's a lot of what's happening with Trump, with Elon. And I do think that Elon's flying a little close to the sun. I can smell the wax burning. But at this point, I think a lot of people are looking at those, like the Mayor Adams thing, and everything's like, not affecting me. And screw them. Biden screwed all the, took on, prosecuted, it was a political witch hunt on a lot of Republicans. So it's fair game.
Let's talk about Eric Adams, David. Was this more about Adams' legal charges, or was it about Donald Trump putting the world on notice? You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah, it's curious, right? Mayor Adams met with President Trump, and now the case is dropped. I think, the question here, and Mark sort of got into this, is the politics at the moment favors Donald Trump because everybody that I've ever interviewed as a voter, left, right, and center, believes that there's so much waste, fraud, and abuse, which there is, by the way, and there's a lot of it, but they've always believed that there's so much of it that the government should spend even more money and they should get more tax cuts. And this is across the board, because if we don't get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse, there'd be so much money. Even after all of that, there'd be money left over. Now, we know if you don't deal with entitlement programs and other things, that's just simply not the case, and you're not going to solve the problem. But right now, what voters are hearing is the president's going after things like foreign aid, which is always a hard sell. They never understand why it needs to be done. And everything else is conceptual. They may be seeing the headlines about NIH cuts or this agency shutting down, see the CFPB shutting down. You're going to get into that later this evening. But nothing's actually impacted them yet. And Donald Trump is barely 4 weeks into his second term. So he's enjoying a honeymoon phase that's normal for most presidents. It's just not normal for him, but it's actually normal for most presidents. President Biden enjoyed it. President Obama enjoyed it. President George W. Bush enjoyed it. It's just Trump the first time around didn't. This time he is. And so I think, I'm not saying you can put it past them to do some of these things. I'm just saying we don't know where this is going to end up yet. And we don't know where the politics of this is going to end up once people are actually impacted by some of the things this new administration is doing.
Mm. Wow, that I could say that went left, but I think that would be obvious. That would be obvious that went left. The fear mongering had gotten old. We're not stupid, despite what they said during the election season. I really believe could have gotten at least 1 year without having to pay federal taxes. He says he's doing away with income taxes. I don't know how long that's going to take. That could take years. TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is going to make America great again. I think she had it bad. I think she was stage 4. She had TDS stage 4. I really believe. Who follows Dear Woke Christian on Twitter or X or whatever it's called? Who follows Dear Woke Christian on Twitter? I'm asking for a reason. Jason is a whole fool. He just posted this. And he said, I've got to say, as a bald man, this man's haircut is on point. And then he goes, wait, what? It's a woman. Jason knows he's crazy. Jason knows he's crazy. Okay. Let me see what they just said. What did they just say? Okay. They're getting ready to pull it in.
If you say Jason knows he's crazy 3 times, guess what happens?
Hey.
Grace and peace, everybody. All right.
They delayed it for an hour, so we were watching Trump with the president of Jordan, who agreed to take in 2,000 people from Gaza, and we're going to help them transport them. But he said he would take in children.
Interesting. Who the president of Jordan?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I mean, they're closer there. Why fly him here or somewhere else? I mean, they're closer there, so I'm kind of rolling with that.
Yeah, but who's going to take care of the children?
Right. That's a good question. Who is? That's a good question.
So there's that, and this press conference turned into they're asking for his resignation.
Whose?
Elon's.
But is he okay? Well, y'all have fun.
Yeah, and the left is celebrating like this is some kind of big win for them. And Elon said, "Hold on, I'm coming." So they've delayed it for an hour because he wants to be a part of it. So,
well, there we go. We're gonna have some fun then. I think it's interesting because the issue still has not been addressed, which is the spending, the fraud, the waste that Elon has pulled up. Whether you like Elon or not,
right?
The issue on the floor is still, why are you not like going hard in the paint about how dare we didn't know that we were spending this money here. We didn't know that this money was being wasted. You're just saying we don't want Elon to run the show.
$19 million for Iraqi Sesame Street.
Right. Like, why are you all, and if you go through Twitter, if you just scroll through Twitter, people are becoming aware of this. If you're on TikTok, people are aware that the issue is not Elon Musk. It's not Doge. The issue is we don't know where our money is spent. I literally hear people talking about class action lawsuit against the government. That's crazy. Now, I don't know where
But
to go.
Jason, he might see my social security number.
Baby, everybody can see your social security number. That's why you need
I know, it's so ridiculous.
And this episode is brought to you in part by.
I know, but I have $107 in my account. He just wants that $107.
He's coming. He is coming for that. Yeah, and that Congresswoman's hair, her hair is so much better than mine.
I'm sorry.
Man, I'm so bitter.
But that literally made me bust out laughing. I was so glad I was on mute. I was
so
like,
bitter
he did
about
not
that
do.
thing.
Jason is a mess.
I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you. I mean, I'm not saying that we should be willy-nilly about our personal data, but I don't think that's really people's concerns. I really, truly don't think anybody truly is concerned that the average blue-haired, hook-nosed barista at the local wherever coffee shop was not thinking about Elon Musk has my social 4 months ago. They weren't thinking about that. Why are you thinking
No,
about
because
it
she
now?
ruined her credit at 18. And I'm sorry, but I'm really just kind of being honest. He don't care about your money in your Cash App. He has all the money in the world, really. He's the richest man in the country.
Right. But realistically, though, we've asked this question several times. If he's trying to steal, is he not the worst bank robber in the world? He's doing it in the open.
Out in public.
Out in public. Everybody knows that Elon is about to roll up on the feds. Everybody knows that Elon Musk rolled up on the Department of Ed. Why do you think he's doing that in the open if he's trying to steal your stuff? That doesn't make sense. Wouldn't he be?
They don't have an answer for that one, though.
Wouldn't he be moving like secretly and such like that? It just seems. But how about this? I propose that the government. Why are you not bothered by the fact that the government has been robbing from you for decades? We could have a discussion about all the different ways that the government robs you. But you're concerned that Elon Musk wants you to know how they're robbing you. And dare I say, even stop them from robbing you. Let's shoot the police. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Like, you're literally trying to stop the people that are trying to stop crime against you.
I've never understood that, but people have done it for years. It don't make no sense. A woman came in here and I had to stop her in her tracks, Jason. I'm sorry. But she said, I have a friend that's on legitimate disability for a legitimate disability, and she gets a food card every month, and she's not getting it anymore because of billionaires. And I was like, I'm sorry. That's just not true. And I'm not going to let you come in here and fear monger people. because I'm on legitimate disability for a legitimate disability, and I get a food card every month, and I just got my notification that I'm going to get it soon. So I'm not going to let you do that, because he has said a million times that it's not going to affect disability and it's not going to affect SNAP cards. So I'm just not going to let you come in here and do that. Sorry. I didn't block her or anything, but I did tell her she's just not going to come in here and do that.
Well, I think the problem is we've allowed, again, you don't like Trump. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay that you don't like Trump.
Yeah.
We're going to give you time and encourage you to reconsider, but you're not required to like Trump. On the same
Right.
note, though, you don't need to actually vilify everything that he does. You don't have to
Exactly
do that.
right.
You can say, you know what, I don't like Trump. Yeah, this is a good thing he did over here. It's okay. I know you might think that you're going to spontaneously combust, or that your pink-haired, eyebrow-pierced grandmother is going to disown you. But baby, it's going to be okay. Your 45-year-old grandmother with pink hair, we're going to just let her be okay. We're going to let her be all right over there. You can say, you know what, Trump, I don't like it. This is actually okay. You can do that. It is perfectly okay. You know what? You can say it in your home right now. Say it with me, okay? Trump's all right. Just say it. Nobody else has to hear you. You don't have to put it on TikTok. No crying on Twitter. Just say, Trump's all right. Okay, it's okay. Now, we can ship you some red hats if you want to, or Make America Great flags, or good gracious, an American flag. We can put that out there in your front yard. Just send it to me, dearwokesy@gmail.com. Well, part of my new business effort is that I've created an army of drones that will come and plant an American flag in your front yard. You're welcome.
I would sew an extra star on that flag just to be a butthead. Just to be a butthead.
That would be amazing.
I
But
see
no.
somebody tweet a picture this morning, Jason, that had 5 people standing, and it said, 5 generations of Democrats. The oldest one is 40.
Right. How many of them are alive is a better question. Like, man, these people are crazy. But I digress. I think we when we allow fearmonger and the creation of fear and the such like that to push us into a place of being unsensible. And that's why I do this channel. I have no problem discussing. And if the person that, has an issue, there's a gentleman in my comment section on another video. He was commenting recklessly. And I want pushback. Please understand, I am not one of those people that doesn't like pushback. And the reason I don't like commenting and going in the comment section, after a while, we don't see it on this side of YouTube. We don't see it. So I actually have to look for the comment and got to scroll. And sometimes if there's a really hot video, I got to scroll for a while to find and see if you comment.
Sure.
I'm not doing that. That's a waste of my time. So that's why I always say, hey, if you want to comment, email me. Then that way me and you can have a dialogue. And if it's necessary, we can go ahead and get a camera going on and we can chop it up and have everybody listen. But I bring all that up is because I got no problem with pushback. I got no problem. People have shared some things about 47. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I like that too much. Again, I'm not a big fan of Gulf of America. I understand it.
Look, I said that in the chat about Ate Me Alive. I'm not.
Let me put it in the proper context. Let me put it into context. Compared to everything that we could be doing about energy independence, the Gulf of America is probably third, maybe fourth. If he had opened up Anwar to more drilling, the XL pipeline to more pumping of oil, then he said he's going to change the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Salute. I just don't think that is the primary concern, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's pretty comical. And yes, I've been seeing how Google has changed and all that kind of good jazz. I just think there's some other things we could be doing right here inside of the United States and American interest before we start changing the names of waterways and such of that nature.
The chat did explain to me, though, that makes it to where we can drill for oil a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I didn't
part.
understand that. So I am a little bit more on board with it than I was.
No, I
I
totally
just
get
don't
it.
see.
I'm
It's supposed to
saying
be a America First situation, and I don't see how that lines up with that at all. It kind of confuses me. I don't get it.
No,
There's
I agree,
there's things we could be doing
that are a little bit more important. And again, like
Yeah.
I said, I'm not saying that the Gulf of America is not I understand why he did it. I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm only saying
I think he should explain to people why he did it.
he can explain, but I just don't think it's the primary important thing right off the bat. I need to change
Right.
the Gulf of
Right.
America. Again, Anwar, XL pipeline, Gulf of America. So third. Then I'd have been good. If there was more oil coming through the XL pipeline, Anwar was open, I'm good. I'm not gonna bother with you. But
I think
don't
that's just
it's-
you, Kathleen. Somebody said you must trust the plan. Look, I don't trust anybody 100% except for
Christ.
Jesus Christ. That's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't trust anybody 100%. I just don't, because this world is flawed and it's full of flawed people.
We be flawing. We be flawing.
We be flawing. We do.
We be flawing. But by the way, thank you so very much to Amethyst Angel. She's just rocking the channel. What did she say? I heard one Dem complain that Elon Musk wants everyone in his department to use Starlink.
And he confirmed
You know
that was
why?
true.
I bet it's because he knows that Verizon, AT&T, and Comcast are compromised. Hackers delight. What say you?
And you can't track Starlink. And it runs off its own network.
Let me tell you, I think Elon Musk, for all of his flaws, I think he is completely too intelligent for some of these people. Some of the things
He's
he does,
brilliant.
some of the things he does are on another level. So if that's what he's doing, I want you to also think about Starlink. For the most part, is about 3 years old, and it's a satellite. If I'm not mistaken, it's satellite cell service. So it's not Verizon, AT&T, or Comcast, T-Mobile, or any of those guys, right? So he might
I found
very
out
well
something
be,
about Elon and Starlink today. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no problem. He might very well be really testing out a network that will allow you and I to communicate. If things go down the drain for whatever reason, we actually have another option available, which is Starlink. I don't have a problem with it.
Give it to the hurricane victims.
Hurricane victims. I bet you the fire victims probably found use in it. There's a lot of reasons why this is probably a really good venture. So, but I digress. Go ahead.
Well, that's all I was going to say. He gave it to the hurricane victims, and there was no internet, I don't know how it works. It's very interesting to me, but there was no internet connection or anything, and they were able to call people, and they were able to get online and apply for FEMA funds.
FEMA funds.
Yeah.
What are those?
And about 1/10 of them actually got it.
That's
But
crazy.
it is. But we actually got a letter from the White House that says if you got FEMA funds, you will get a $600 check from the President of the United States.
Okay.
Just to kind of say they're sorry and to supplement FEMA.
Yeah.
So there's no time on it, but yeah.
Now again,
I'm hoping it's today. But yeah, that's something good. And I found out that also he gave a Starlink to Karen Reed because Karen Reed's phone was being tracked. He gave Karen Reed a phone. She was talking about it today.
Okay, Carrie.
That's cool. That's really cool.
That's different. I'll give him that. I'll give Elon credit. But again, I think we as people, and I really hope that we can say, hey, you know what? Let's have a meeting of the minds.
He said from him, but maybe.
I mean, probably coming. I doubt it's coming out of his own pocket. So yeah,
It's not coming out of his pocket. No, of course it's not.
It's coming from the Treasury to some degree. Hey,
I'm just saying when we got the
USAID
checks
money.
and during COVID, he wanted them to come to him first so he could sign them, though. You remember that? That whole debacle? They delayed them by like 2 or 3 days so they could be printed with the name Donald Trump on them.
Oh, actually, I don't remember that. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But going back to the
Sorry.
No problem. I'm just checking to see if
I've got the link backstage. If you want to pull it up,
is that the when are they?
That's the
coming
link to the press conference for Elon Musk.
Oh,
and
Elon.
he's got to appear in front of them tomorrow for like a trial.
They're probably just doing a Senate hearing, but
Yeah, that's what I would mean. Yeah,
yeah,
which is
interesting.
ridiculous. Pulling him away from his work.
Yeah, it sounds about right. It sounds about right. Thank you, Amethyst Angel, again, for being very kind with the super. I appreciate you. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. I'm just looking to see through some of the. I really hope that as this plays out and continues to play out in real time, more and more and more people will start to say, hey, why is our government not willing to be sensible, be reasonable, like expose themselves and share where it is that they're spending this money and so on and so forth. I just did a video called "The Democrats Sound Like a cheating boyfriend," because I don't know if you saw that TikTok. There's a young lady on TikTok who basically said the American people snatched their boyfriend's phone. I'm sorry, Elon Musk snatched their boyfriend's phone and ran to the bathroom and shut the door and is scrolling through the phone. And he's showing the American people what the cheating boyfriend, the Democrats and the government has been doing. And I thought it was a wonderful analogy, right on the money. And these people are all attacking Elon. How dare you invade my privacy? How dare you show, when in actuality, what about the things that you're doing? So
Yeah, they're calling it Elon derangement syndrome now.
Oh yeah, EDS is as bad as which. That's just as bad as Trump derangement syndrome.
EDS, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I gotta stop. That's why I didn't say it again.
Sorry.
That's why I only said it one time, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, let me stop that." I'm looking here. I see that Mayor Adams has gotten. They dropped charges against Mayor Adams up there in. New
Oh,
York.
really? I didn't know that.
Let's see.
That's surprising, actually.
I'm a little surprised. This is a quick YouTube short. Let's pull it in real quick. That's what he's saying. What you got, Eric?
I never broke the law, and I never would. Hidden beneath all the shocking headlines, full of rumors and accusations, all the innuendos and insinuations, the real news is that the women and men of my administration have delivered for the working people of New York, just like I promised we would. Those are the facts. I never broke the law.
Wow.
And I never would.
All right, so I'm gonna.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find the rest of that. I'm like, okay, so they dropped the charges against them. Now that's interesting because they sound like they were pretty intense about that. So wow.
Did he get a pardon or?
It sounds like they dropped the charges in total. Let me find out real quick. No pardon. It wasn't a pardon issue.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Prosecutors dropped charges against them. Let's just pull this one in very quickly. One in the chat when you can hear. Get right here. Pop on the stage. Let's go. One in the chat when you can hear.
And we have breaking news right now. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is speaking for the first time since the Department of Justice told federal prosecutors to drop the criminal case against him. Let's listen.
My fellow New Yorkers, as you may have heard, the Department of Justice has directed that the case against me be dismissed, finally ending a months-long saga that put me, my family, and the city through an unnecessary ordeal. As I said from the outset, I never broke the law, and I never would. I would never put any personal benefit above my solemn responsibility as your mayor. It is worth repeating the facts because many sensational and false claims have been made. So let me be clear. I never asked anyone to break the law on my behalf or on behalf of my campaign. Never. And I absolutely never traded my power as an elected official for any personal benefit. No witness ever came forward publicly to make claims against me. None of the baseless threats from prosecutors of new charges and new evidence ever materialized. And this case will no longer continue. Psalms 34:1 says, I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. So I thank the Justice Department for its honesty. Now we can put this cruel episode behind us and focus entirely on the future of our city. It's time to move forward. But despite the fact that I am no longer facing legal questions, I also understand that many New Yorkers will still question my character. And I know that I must continue to regain your trust. I've learned a lot over the last year, and this experience has been humbling. But as we have been dragged through this unfortunate prosecution, I never took my eyes off what was important, you and your family's future. And because of that, our city government has never been stronger. Just look at the figures. We have achieved record drops in crime, record increases in affordable housing, and the highest number of jobs in New York City history. And I want to repeat that. Double-digit drops in shootings, homicides, and subway crimes. The most new housing built in a 3-year period ever, and the most jobs ever. We moved more than 185,000 migrants through our system and out of our care. We helped put $30 billion back into the pockets of New Yorkers through direct assistance. And we enrolled more children than ever into early childhood education programs while reducing the cost of childcare to less than 1/10 of what it was when we came into office for working families. We put thousands of new police officers on our streets and in our subways. And we connected thousands struggling with mental illness to services. That's right. Hidden beneath all the shocking headlines, full of rumors and accusations, all the innuendos and insinuations.
We are watching New York City Mayor Eric Adams speaking for the first time since the Justice Department told prosecutors to drop the criminal case against him. Adams says he never asked anyone to break the law on his behalf, never traded his power as a public official for personal benefit, and never broke the law himself. I want to bring back senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky for more. Aaron, it's interesting because prosecutors aren't dropping this case because they don't think the evidence is strong enough, right? They're saying that wasn't really a factor here. It was something else. So explain what that something else is and how it's related to Trump's immigration crackdown.
Politics is the only thing that you can say, because the Justice Department made clear in a memo from the acting number 2 official at the Justice Department, Emil Bovee, to prosecutors here in New York, that they were not evaluating the strength of the evidence or even the legal theories underpinning the criminal prosecution of the mayor. They said instead the case had to be dropped because of the timing. They say it was brought after Adams had criticized the immigration policies of the Biden administration. They also said the case needed to go because they wanted Adams not to be distracted. They wanted him to devote his full attention to President Trump's immigration policies. And so the instruction came down, get rid of this case, although it's dismissed without prejudice, meaning it could be revived. Kind of a way to keep Adams on the hook a little bit, make sure he stays in line.
All right, and here's Adams saying it's time to put this behind us and focus on the future of New York City. Aaron Katursky, thank you.
Interesting. Okay, tell me what you think about that.
He did not bring God into that because he knows he did. Sorry, I'm going to get some hate. That's fine. You can email me at dearwokec@gmail.com. You're muted. But yeah, he knows he did some stuff. I mean, only person knows for sure is him and the Lord, but
yeah.
Didn't he give Diddy the key to the city?
Yeah, he did. But they took it back, though. They did take it back. to give them credit. They didn't take
that
it
makes
back.
it all better.
Real quick, I just got an email.
Oh.
All right. Let's see what this is. How much? This is not really long. Can you keep an eye on the Elon case and let me
Yep.
know? Let me make sure I have it queued up. Wait, you sent me the link, didn't you?
Every like 15 minutes, they're like, okay,
Yeah,
on the
you got it
hour,
right.
on the
I
half
got it.
hour.
I got it. It's ready. So just if you can keep an eye on it, lots of people are interested in what's going on in this case. So I want to make sure I give the people what they need. What they need is to know about this case. And what is it, Jason? I'm glad you asked. Thanks for asking. Fonnie Willis. Fulton County hands Fonnie Willis a hard pill to swallow. And this is from Town Hall. Shout out to a fantastic subscriber to the channel. Floyd is always sends me some great stuff. So let's see what he has. Fulton County Board of Commissioners has denied Fonnie Willis's plea for additional funding. Oh, we already know where this is going now. I have not read this, by the way. I just literally saw it on my phone and I said, let me pull it in. So, y'all, if you know, Fonnie Willis was actually going to sue the Fulton County Commission for more money. They were going to keep the budget locked at what it was about 2 years ago, and Fonnie Willis wanted it to increase, if I'm not mistaken, like a whole whopping $15 million. It was not a whole lot of money, considering the budget that they have. But let's continue. After she reportedly threw a temper tantrum, threatening to sue them if they didn't acquiesce to her demands. And again, I think it was very funny that she's going to sue her boss for a raise, which is super wild. But even more than that, I think she was silently praying that they wouldn't, or that they would just acquiesce, because if she sued them, they would be able to audit and see where her finances were. And I think that would open up a whole can of worms that she really didn't want. Willis went so far as to claim that the people will die unless they hand her more taxpayer money, according to the documents obtained by Capital B News.
What?
Yeah, we read that. And she does say it. She does say that people are going to perish if she doesn't get, $20 more million. Like, it was pretty wild, which covers
I knew
how
they
Black
turned her
people
down.
experience. Mhm.
And she
Experience at
asked for
land
that
sales.
much money based on her RICO cases.
Right. Let us continue. It is some hard medicine to have to swallow, Fulton County Commissioner Bridget Thorne said before the board voted 5-2 in favor of a more financially conservative 2025 budget. Previously, in a December 11th letter addressed to the county commissioners, Willis warned that if she was not given her way, she might have to pursue legal action, including launching a lawsuit against the board in order to receive sufficient funding for the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, or else people will die as a consequence of your budgetary cuts. Without adequate funding to properly serve the citizens of the county, we have to explore legal remedies, which included filing a lawsuit against the Board of Commissioners to seek a budget consistent with the number of the nature of cases this office handles. Willis wrote, "Hear me clearly. If you enact the proposed budget, people will die." Emphasis added. She told the county commissioners, "You are now on notice." That was pretty bold, man. There's a lot of boldness in this letter. Though she didn't stipulate exactly how much extra cash she wants, the Democrat DA threat referenced the request to restore staffing levels, which were reduced by 20% in 2024. The majority of the county's commissioners ultimately refused to give in and greenlight the full funding request, albeit they approved a $39.4 million in chief prosecutor office, up from 36. So again, she got $3 million more. I don't remember how much she actually asked for. A 9% increase, which Willis insists is still not enough, would endanger citizens and prevent me from fulfilling my duties as a district attorney. Spokesperson for Willis told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that she stands by her letter and is appreciative of the two commissioners who had backed her funding boost appeal. I bet you can guarantee that. Yep, I knew it. The two holdout commissioners were Dana Barrett and Marvin Arrington, both opposed to the now adopted budget. Barrett said they should act proactively instead of reactively in addressing the county's decrepit jailhouse conditions. And I think that's true. They do need to do something about the jail, but giving money to Fani Willis isn't, in my opinion, the smartest thing to do. Let us continue. We know that we need to make real change in our criminal justice system, Barrett implored. We can take proactive steps to do what's right. To do so, Barrett suggests earmarking nearly $15 million in additional funding for the county's courts and associated public safety officers, including $3 million extra to set aside for Willis. Oh, for why? Why does Willis need the money? Thorne, meanwhile, argued that the allocating funds now to fix the Fulton County's jail issues would be irresponsible since officials don't yet know how much spending is needed to comply with the court enforceable statement agreement, consent decree, and a county entered with the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, to improve the lockup conditions. The 2-year federal investigation into the Fulton County Jail, also referred to as the Rice Street, found the facility's horrific housing conditions, inhumane, violent, horrendous, or hazardous, to the point of being unconstitutional, in part violating the 8th Amendment, which protects against cruel and unusual punishment. According to the lengthy DOJ report, since 2022, at least 6 inmates have died due to violence, and in 2023 alone, 313 stabbings occurred involving contraband and improvised weapons such as makeshift shivs. Some prisoners have been using pieces of the crumbling building county confines center to fashion shanks out of the jail's fixtures and attack other inmates. Elsewhere, in her 7-page letter, Willis described the detention center's deplorable state and asserted that underfunding would worsen the circumstances there, thereby making Fulton County less safe. Okay, got her point there. If the proposed budget was enacted or is enacted, Fulton County will certainly see a dramatic increase in the jail population and is likely to lose much of the progress that has been made in reducing violent crimes, Willis wrote, projecting that the number of inmates would swell by at least 1,000 detainees by the end of the year, bringing the head count well beyond maximum capacity. I mean, it's barely there now, so that's not saying much. The county representative told AJC the budget as passed with the $989 million general fund ensures that the resources available for the jail implementation or improvement plan, and at the same time assumes no tax increase to cover the costs. The tax rate is unchanged, but the county will see a revenue increase due to rising property values. Chairman Rob Pitts, who recapped the board meeting in a newsletter, said that they'll continue funding the much needed services of the Fulton County residents rely upon, while also respecting taxpayers. Now that they officially finalized the fiscal year 2025 budget, it's not clear where the months-long standoff with Willis heads to next. I don't think she's going to sue. I think she's just blustering, but I continue. Have they jumped in yet? No? Okay. Ahead of funding deadlines, Willis tried to rally her constituents to call the commissioners amid budget talks. We ought to demand that the DA's office be financed in a way where we can properly prosecute crimes, Willis said at a January news conference. And I believe we watched that news conference, if I'm not mistaken. I think we watched that one. That's the one at the where Mayor Dinkins was there. But let's continue. Willis maintained that her office needs a substantive monetary increase to hire additional staff so that they can adequately perform their duties. If the district attorney's office doesn't have the right amount of attorneys, investigators, we can't continue to excel to make progress in our city, Willis said. We can't continue to enjoy a safe city. Man, it's like you just want it to be unsafe. Like, why do you want it to be unsafe? That's just nasty work. But let's continue. Willis currently under fire for spending over $750,000 in taxpayer funds and the salary of a subordinate she slept with. She faced a series of prosecutorial misconduct hearings after blowing hundreds of thousands of dollars of tax dollars on the wages of underqualified attorneys she had appointed to a supervisory position despite his scant prosecutorial experience, especially handling RICO cases. Last year, Willis was accused of engaging in self-enrichment scheme with her lover, Nathan Wade, whom she had hired to serve as special prosecutor in charge of prosecuting President Donald Trump on Georgia RICO charges. Willis awarded Wade, a private practice lawyer who specializes primarily in personal injury and family law, a high-paying contract that outmatched those of his more qualified colleagues who were paid far less. For work on the Trump case, Wade made more than $770,000 in funds taken from the county's coffers. Wade then took Willis on luxury trips around the world, including a cruise to the Caribbean, wine tastings in Napa. Under the oath, Willis testified that they either split the travel expenses, though there's little to no proof of those transactions, or she reimbursed them in cash, hence why the purported payments weren't traceable. In sworn testimonies, Willis said her Southern gentleman made much more money than other special prosecutors only because Wade did much more work. To this day, she insists that their affair never involved direct or indirect financial benefit. Wade told Congress he had no relevant experience for the special prosecutor position. Per a transcript of Wade's damning deposition before the U.S. House Judiciary Committee prior to his appointment, he never prosecuted a racketeering case and even had to attend RICO school to learn more about the law. No one oversaw Wade's work once he was hired to head of the Trump prosecution team. And aside from Willis, he had ultimate authority over the case. All right, if you're just hopping in, I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're reading Fulton County hands Willis a hard pill to swallow. Earlier, Willis was making the case that she needs to get more money. She needs more bread in her pocket, more cash. So she needed more money. And she wanted some more money in the budget and such that she was even going to sue the Fulton County Commission for money, the Board of Commissioners for money, which is wild work itself. Needless to say, it didn't happen. So they told her, nah, we're not worried about you suing us, friend. And so now, ball's in her court. We're going to see what happens. I don't think she's going to do anything about it. I think she's going to take what she gets. She's going to keep bustering every time there's a crime. She's going to jump out and say, hey, look, this is because we don't have enough money. Hey, this is because I don't have enough attorneys. Hey, this is because they cut my budget. That's what's going to happen. And mind you, the cutting of the budget is because after 2020, there was a project called Project Orca, O-R-C-A, that infused a bunch of money into Fulton County to hire attorneys to do a whole bunch of stuff, right? Now, whether they did the right things, the jury's out about that part, but I digress. One of the problems is this was federal money, and the feds are fine with giving you money, especially when they can see some kind of proof that the money that's being used is being used properly. Well, of course, we're talking about finding Willis in Fulton County. All of this noise about trips to Napa and cruises and boyfriends and cabins, all that kind of stuff made its way up to Washington, D.C. And what I believe happened is that money would still have been available to in some way, shape, or form if Fonnie Willis didn't have the stench of this election interference and all of this foolishness with Nathan Wade on her. So that's why when Jim Jordan asked her to come on up here to D.C. and tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and she refused to do it, I think they said, well, you know what? We're not going to send you any more of this money that you were using. So let's just say that it was $30 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And so I think what happened is that Project Orca money dried up. They took it back, and there was no way to make up for it because they had a lot of money, extra money. That's why I think they were moving so recklessly, in my opinion. But I think that's why they were moving so recklessly. So with that Project Orca money drying up, her not having a way to get it. She's coming to the commissioner saying, hey, we need more money. We need more money. They're saying, nah, we're going to keep this budget exactly where it is because we got to spend some money on this new jail in a couple of years, which they should have been building that new jail already. But I digress as well. That thing needs to be, they should be working on that right now. I don't know what, doing a bake sale or something. I don't know. Have the inmates start digging? I don't know, man. Lay the foundation. Something needs to happen. That Rice Street jail needs to be replaced right now, ASAP. But the Fulton County Commission said, we need to work on that. We don't need to give you money. And I think that's what happened. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear what your thoughts are about Fonnie Willis getting her hand slapped again, collecting another L for Lady Willis. So this is, I don't even know. I've lost count how many L's Fonnie Willis has caught just this year alone, just in 2025. 2024 was pretty bad too. She was spelling Lululemon, but now it's like, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But let's see where they are. I don't think the Elon thing has started yet. Bring it in just so we can all see. They've not started yet. What's happening, homie? You back?
Hey, yeah, I called Fox News. I was like, I ain't playing with this no more.
You called them?
Yeah, I had called them. I had called them an hour ago, and they just called me back. That's why I jumped down. They called me back to let me know that he had his lawyers stop everything until he got there. So he's on his way, apparently. So they're like very aggravatedly told me, when he gets here, we'll start. So that's all they told me.
Oh, okay. Okay. E-Boogie. Elon, we got you, my brother. We got you, Elon.
Yeah, so that's all I know.
All right, let's see.
Oh, she did say, citing his First Amendment. I was like, I don't know what him getting to a press conference has to do with his First Amendment, but all right.
All right, let's see. Hold on, I'm sorry. All right, I'm trying to scan through and see if there's any shenanigans on the old Twitter real quick. Did I lose you?
Well, I didn't check his Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I was looking to try to see.
That's
Or
a good
X,
idea.
whatever they call it. They call it X.
I
Sorry
know, I
about that.
can't remember.
All right.
While you're doing that, I'm going to shamelessly plug my new channel.
Okay, go ahead. We listen. Tell us
I
about it.
started a Christian political commentary channel,
I love it. What's the name of it? Where's it at?
Conservative Crossroads.
I like it. I like it.
And I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If y'all don't mind giving me a sub, I would really appreciate it.
I like it. Let's go check it out.
Oh, I did it under your name. Sorry. My bad. Can I read my description real quick?
Go ahead, sure.
Okay, welcome to Conservative Crossroads, where faith and politics meet at the intersection of truth, tradition, and freedom. As a Christian commentator, I'm going to delve into the most pressing political issues from a right-leaning perspective, providing thoughtful analysis grounded in biblical principles and conservative values. Join me for honest discussions and in-depth commentary, and I'm committed to upholding ideals with making America great. If you're passionate about defending liberty and embracing faith and standing firm in conservative beliefs, you've come to the right place.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
on our way. We're on our way.
Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. And it's just kind of, I just really like politics, so it's just going to be a little pet project. Nothing fancy.
No problem.
You got to make me a background. But anyway, yeah, just a little pet project.
Okay, some of these AIs.
Don't say right. I didn't say right wing. I said right leaning. But you're right. I kind of thought about that. I wasn't sure. We can hear that. I didn't know if you knew. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Some of the stuff playing in the background, I didn't realize.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, maybe I will change that. Can you suggest any changes, Jason?
I did not, but I will look at it and I will make some suggestions.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Yeah, we heard like a dinosaur or something.
There's some of these crazy AIs. I would love to know how these people are making some of these AIs because they are crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, that's some other stuff right there.
I'm just now figuring out how to do like AI thumbnails, but I don't know how to do that kind of stuff.
All right, so I'm looking here. Yeah, I don't see anything. Uh-oh, what's so apparently somebody's posting on Twitter how Elizabeth Warren assaulted them. Let's see real quick.
Yeah, there's a video.
How did you get a $12 million?
Okay, let's pull that in. So I think that's
It's not bad. You can show it.
Mhm.
She bumps him with her elbow. With his elbow. It's not nothing.
Well, I hate to say it, but I mean, police use the word assault with a whole lot less intentionality than bumping. So, all right,
yeah,
let's go.
they
Here it
do. You're
goes.
right.
The shutdown. So Senator Warren, why are you so afraid of transparency? Why are you bothered by the fact that Elon Musk is attempting to expose all of this fraudulent spending? What is that about? What is the problem here? What is the problem with transparency? Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Senator Warren, I just want to answer a question. How did you get a $12 million net worth on a $200,000 salary in Congress?
Thank you.
How did you do that?
Excuse me.
How did you do that? You can keep trying to block my camera. We're on a public sidewalk, so get off of me. So you don't want to answer that question. What is it about Doge that's such a problem to you? You just elbowed me, Senator. I got that on camera.
Excuse us. Thank you.
Transparency is your enemy.
The shutdown.
So Senator Warren, why are you?
What you think about that? You think she body slammed him? You think she?
I don't think
gave
she even
him
touched him, honestly.
1-2
but-
roundhouse? I don't think so either. I think it's just a little extra. I wouldn't. If he's gonna say that she assaulted him, that's one thing. I wouldn't, I wouldn't push it past that though. All right, let's see.
And if she did, I don't think it was intentional.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And she's like 137 years old.
Yeah. I think it might be good
hope you're
for
all
us
right.
right now to
What the hell is wrong?
to take a second to see what has been the outcome of this USAID situation, because there's a lot of things that we're now not going to know, Mandy. Do you know there's some things that you're not going to know now
What?
because of USAID being
Mhm.
defunded? Do you know some
Uh-uh.
things? What are some things that you're not going to know now?
Well, well, I don't know.
Well, there you go. There's things you don't know. Let me let you know something that you didn't know that now you know that you don't know it. Here it comes.
What the hell is wrong with you people anyways? I hope you're all right with this. I thought all of you were smarter than this, but apparently not. I mean, look at this. You can see it all. And now, after all this work, just because of Elon Musk and Donald Trump, I lost my job. We're never going to now know how much wood a woodchuck chucks if a woodchuck could chuck wood. And I almost finished. Look at this. The project was almost done. How are future generations going to put food on the table now?
She
This
is messed
terrible.
up.
I hope you're happy with yourselves. I don't know. This is something for the Department of Education to figure out. We can't block the doors. I don't know. This is a tragedy. Okay.
She is funny.
All right. So I mean, now we don't know how much. Now we were right on the cusp of knowing how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Now we don't know.
I'll tell you what else we don't know. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
There you go. There you go, man. I mean, this is a tragic day. This day will go down in infamy. We might need to actually start a GoFundMe or something. If nothing else, you know what we should do? We should like this video. That's what we should do.
Yep. If you do, I might actually go in there and get a Tootsie Roll Pop and find out, because now I have a sweet tooth.
I'm just looking. Man, these people are pretty wild. Okay, I'm just again searching, find some.
Bruce, no spoilers. No, I'm just teasing. Bruce, I wish I can't check away.
Yeah, I mean, does he know? All right, let's see here.
Ben is right. The old white owl said 3.
Is that what he said? Was it really?
Yeah, he licked it. He went 1, 2, 3, and he bit it and handed it back to the kid and said 3.
Haribo. I think Elon
We
Musk just
heard
showed up.
that.
I think Elon Musk just rolled up to
Did he?
the Senate hearing. Let me hold on. Let me show the video real quick.
Okay.
I think this is him rolling up on it real quick.
Okay.
I think it's. All right. That might have been his stunt double.
You know the deal with the name, right?
I've heard the deal with the name, yes.
It's ridiculous that they're making such a big deal about that.
But they have to make a deal out of something. There's something that you do that's not. But this is the thing I think is backfiring on them, because you zero in on something so non-consequential that you're not focusing. So would you be okay if his name was John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt? Would you then start looking at the money that y'all are wasting if his name was John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, or yellow polka dot flying purple people eater? What is the name that you would have been happy with to make you actually look at the money that y'all wasting?
No, if he was purple, they'd make it a racist thing.
Right.
Oh.
We don't want to be, because Neptunians are purple, and we're not against Neptunians. We're not.
Yeah.
We are pro Neptunian.
Hashtag free Neptunians.
Absolutely. All of them matter, and your pronouns at Neptune. Can we agree? Can we agree that I'm gonna say something real bad, and I'm gonna actually I'm gonna take you off screen because I don't want you to get in trouble.
Okay.
Okay. So hold on. Let me find a picture first. Okay. No, this is not doing what I want it to do. Let me go elsewhere. I'm gonna take you off in a moment because I just want to ask some people a question. But okay, is it okay? Can we all agree as a community? Okay, can we all agree as a community, everybody, that let me get you out of here because I don't want you to get in trouble for this. Can we all agree as a community, everyone, that the representative from Texas, Jasmine Crockett, can we all agree right now, just right now, that she looks like a Bratz doll? Can we agree? Can we all disagree that Jasmine Crockett looks like a Bratz doll? I need somebody to do a side-by-side for me of Jasmine Crockett and a Bratz doll. Those eyelashes are ridiculous. Like, they're like windshield wiper blades. Like, come on, people. Like, stop it. Stop it. I did a short of her talking with a Bratz overlaid over a Bratz doll, and I felt bad, so I just took it down. But I might actually put it back up. If somebody sends me a side-by-side, I will give you credit for it, by the way. DearWokeC@gmail.com. But she looks ridiculous. I mean, she looks bona fide ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying that I don't even know what she looks like normally, truth be told. So I can't say that she's not an attractive woman, but what she's doing and all the shenanigans she's going through to look like a Bratz doll is money wasted. There's my email, dearwokec@gmail.com. Oh man, I didn't mean to. Oh, don't disparage the Bratz dolls. Oh man, I'm sorry, Bratz. If there's any Bratz dolls in the chat, look, you matter too. You matter too, Bratz dolls. I didn't mean to do that to you. I'm sorry to do that to y'all, Bratz doll. All right, let me bring Mandy back in. Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree?
Bratz lives matter.
Bratz matter too. I wouldn't think about your feelings. I apologize. But yeah, she looks like a Bratz doll.
She does.
Okay, hold on.
They were out there pitching a fit out in front of USAID, and she had that one eyelash like hanging off.
Okay, I thought it was just me. I was like, maybe because I don't like eyelashes. I don't like when my
I don't
daughters
either.
wear them. I'm glad my
I
wife
don't wear
doesn't
'em.
wear them. I'm like, I'm not an eyelash person. I don't like that. Hold on, let me.
No, her glue had come detached.
It did
was
it?
not.
Oh,
It was not looking good.
Oh, I feel bad. I don't. Let me pull this in so we can. Y'all just tell me that I'm wrong. You're okay. You're okay. You can say, Jason, you're wrong for that in the chat. You can do that. All right.
Not though.
I don't know what they're saying, so I don't want to get.
You gonna get struck for that.
That's why. Say again.
You'll get struck for that.
That's why I took it down. I cut the audio.
Okay.
Here, let me back it up. Tell me this don't look like her.
Look, it's the Democratic National Convention.
Right. Real eyelashes. Okay. Is that not Jasmine Crockett? Come on, y'all. Tell me. Look at that. You know good and well that's that's Jasmine. You know it. Come on, man. Come on.
I just can't. I just
All right.
can't.
All right. That was my
Look, that's what my niece wants for her birthday now as a Bratz doll, and you know I'm gonna have
They
a hard
still
time
buy
buying
those?
it. Yes.
Really?
And now I'm gonna have a hard time buying that. Thanks, Jason.
No, you just don't buy it. That's really that easy. You just don't buy it.
That's what she wants.
Come on.
Oh my gosh. She's very pretty though in that picture.
She's just too made up for me. I'm not going to do that, but get her a G.I. Jane. There you go.
She got a heck of a filter going on that picture though.
There's a lot of filter in this picture. I don't know what that is. Look, it's a crime. Like, you don't want nobody to know who you are. Okay, I apologize, y'all. Please do not email management. I'm sorry. That was terrible of me. I could do better than that. I can do better than that.
Bruce says she's cute till she starts talking. Till she opens that mouth.
Y'all, Twitter is just, I'm sorry. I used to think Twitter was the worst thing in the world. I'm sorry. Twitter is giving me life today. Y'all, watch
You have to be in the mood for Twitter.
Okay, what's this guy got right here? He says, just email Trump to make a new executive order.
So I don't have to press one for English anymore.
Y'all, come on. Come on. Press one in the chat. Drop a one in the chat if you're tired of pressing one for English.
And this will be the last one you ever had to press.
Yeah, come on. Let's agree. Look.
That is hilarious.
I'm like, y'all, come on. Put a one in the chat because I can't disagree with my man. I don't know why he got them slides on like that, but okay. You're like a kid.
Problem, you wear slides all the time now. I don't know what's up.
I got
like
some
in the
right
winter.
Here, but I got some right here, but they're like my house
See?
shoes.
What's up?
They're like my house shoes though.
It's February. Oh,
I'm
it's
in the
house shoes. Okay,
house.
that's different. That's different.
I'm in the house. That's called house shoes.
I wear Crocs all the time.
I don't know I'm fine with it being called English, but I do think that we should make a bigger push. Hear me. I'm gonna make a very unpopular take. Let's go back in time. Can y'all rewind to the 90s? To the 90s. There was a an educational theory that was pushed out in the 90s. It wasn't, because before we had been pretty cool with the melting pot scenario for many years. But then there was this cultural diversity push that came in the 90s that I really believe was the multiculturalism is the proper term that it was. And I really believe that was the reason why it was a bedrock for a lot of the foolishness that we're in today, because it no longer said, hey, we are going to meld and become a one single culture, AKA American culture, but we're going to focus on everybody's culture that they came from. And I think that's really where the hyphenated American really shot off. We had it before, but it really skyrocketed into the stratosphere during the 90s. And then coming into the 2000s, of course, with 9/11, we had a lot of tension and so forth like that. And multiculturalism just really sunk deep into our brains, for lack of a better term. And I really think we should look back at that and say, hey, instead of multiculturalism, maybe, just maybe, it might not be bad for us to just focus on American culture, AKA what it makes or what it takes for us to be American. Okay, that's it. That's my little hot take right off the press.
I put a video in the back that kind of apparently is what started all this today.
Hold on, let's see.
And it's one of your favorite people.
Who's one of my favorite people? Hold on, let me look, see. One of my favorite people?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see her. Oh, wait, who's my favorite person? Me?
Wait, pull up the video and you'll see.
Illegally stealing your data? Okay, let me pull it up.
Is it? Don't you love Yasmin Ansari or whatever her name is?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm sorry. I must have you mixed up with somebody. My bad.
So you talking about somebody else?
Sorry.
Wait, don't be confusing me with your other side co-host. All right, let's get this.
I don't co-host with anybody else.
All right, let's bring this in. Let's see what you got. All right, let's go. I gotta skip past my Bratz doll. Let's go.
Am I done?
Ms. Ansari?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the witnesses for being here today.
There go that bald lady right there, though.
Yep, there she
an
is.
unprecedented moment in our nation's history. Donald Trump and an unelected billionaire, Elon Musk, are illegally dismantling our government agency by agency and illegal.
All right. We can't blame illegal on Tiffany Henyard. She just said illegal. Isn't the word illegal? So we can't just pick on Tiff. This woman right here said it too. Okay.
Stealing your data, your money, and your services.
Wow.
I would love for Mr. Musk to come here and testify before this committee so we can understand his qualifications to do this, because last I checked, running a social media platform does not qualify you
She thinks that's all he does.
understanding how the U.S. government works and making sure that it can operate and serve the American people. One of my Republican colleagues just went after the IQ of federal workers. They want us to think that federal workers are faceless, nameless bureaucrats roaming the halls of Washington, D.C., when the reality is that over 85% of federal employees live outside of Washington, D.C., and they're your neighbors, your friends, and your families. More than 34,000 federal employees live in Arizona, and about 7,000 live in my district. They make sure that your highways are running smoothly and safely so we can get to work on time. They make sure your grandparents get their Social Security checks on time so that they can afford food. In my district, we have multiple VA health centers to make sure our veterans get access to basic health care. Maricopa County, one of the largest counties in the United States, has over 245,000 veterans who do not know if they're going to keep getting their benefits. That is absurd and disrespectful to so many Arizonans who put their lives on the line for this country. Because of the Musk funding freezes, I had constituents calling my office panicking about whether they would be able to get urgent surgeries. Renters on subsidies are distressed about whether or not they will get aid or get evicted and end up on the streets. Even after Trump realized how disastrous his misguided freezes were and reversed some of them, there are healthcare clinics in my district that are laying off staff and cutting critical programs like STD prevention and substance abuse care because they were labeled as DEI. Republicans want to take a vote about fentanyl later today, and yet they're cutting care to get people off of fentanyl. I previously served as the vice mayor of Phoenix, Arizona, the 5th largest city in the country, and I can tell you firsthand how much federal funding and agencies matter to a city like Phoenix. It literally keeps your grandparents and your children fed, your streets safe, your public safety and police and fire running, make sure public transportation is operating, and that air conditioning is running during our extremely hot summers. While Trump and Musk are allegedly concerned about making our government more efficient, they want to lay off and dismantle the very people and departments who are keeping the country running. These loyal, dedicated employees are doing more and more with less and have been for decades.
Can you
This
pause it for
graph
just a second?
shows the federal workforce. It has remained at near.
What you got?
She is just saying big words to try to sound smart.
Oh yeah, no question about it, man. She looks like a Marilyn Manson, one of those goth people. I mean, that was not a good look for her because she's dark on a dark background, and she just looked like a ghost.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we're just here to pick fights.
Nearly the same level for 50 years, while the U.S. population has grown by 100 million people. The bottom line is that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are lying to you. They're lying to the American people under the guise of efficiency. They are dismantling every department. That's not efficiency. They are breaking down the government illegally, from U.S. aid that's vital for national security to the Department of Education, to the Department of Labor, to the Environmental Protection Agency. They are going after your healthcare, your schools, your safety, your data illegally and unvetted.
You said
And what is
illegally.
the ultimate aim for all of this? To distract the American people, to cut a little bit of money so that they can gift their billionaire buddies with massive tax cuts. Just watch them. Thank you. I yield back.
Would you yield to the ranking member?
I yield back to the ranking member.
No, thank you. Just real quickly, does Elon Musk bring some specialty or some expertise in terms of ameliorating or cutting back or pruning or making qualitative judgments about the value of the programs you described that are being hurt right now? Does he bring some special expertise to that task?
He does not. He has not shown any interest in the issues that affect Phoenix or any other city that I've heard of.
And that would be quite different than the process that we saw unfold in the reform effort in Iowa, would it not?
What I heard from the governor was very different than what I've seen thus far. There were no funding freezes. Programs were actually being evaluated. It sounds like what was happening in Iowa was actually about efficiency, where this is about illegally dismantling our government and taking away from the American people.
I thank my colleague for yielding.
All right.
Pursue it to the.
Okay, interesting.
I'm sorry, my cat just
Thank you
jumped
very
up
much,
behind me.
Mr. Chairman. Ms.
No
Bond.
problem. Appreciate it. All right, let me see where we are. Okay, I don't think homeboy Musk has made his appearance as of yet.
If you want, I can bring the live up when he does.
Okay, let's wait. Oh, don't bother the Department of Ed. We got you, Department of Ed. We got you. We got you covered. We got you covered. I just don't. I'm kind of with you right here. Like, why do you not want? You're leaning on some mistakes that are made, which is fair. I'm willing to give you some mistakes are made. What I am not going to do, however, is just pretend like everything that, like, oh well, because we're doing some good things, it doesn't matter that we're wasting a lot of resources to do those one or two good things. And I think that's the part. And hey, maybe it needs to be reevaluated. I think we might need to look at it again. But I digress. What do you think?
It reminds me of a company that Woody would run. It's a whole bunch of lies with a little bit of truth sprinkled in.
There you go. It's the Woody effect. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's see. Let me just check over here. Nope. Maddie said she called Fox. She said, look, I called him and told him Ask what y'all doing over there. I got a bad feeling it's already 4 o'clock. You think they're gonna do it today?
No, because he's got to come and testify in front of them tomorrow. So I bet the lawyer will push everything off. That's what I think.
We'll catch you tomorrow. That's probably what they're gonna say.
That's my personal opinion.
No, I agree with you. Let's do this.
Sorry about that, guys.
Let's do this though. While we're gonna still kind of wait for a second. We're gonna bring up a video. I think you guys and gals will like it. It's by this guy. He's pretty cool guy. I like him. I watch all his stuff. He drops some bangers every now and then. Hey, check this video out. Let's go. It's the recent one about Democrats are behaving like a cheating boyfriend. Let's go. One in the chat when you can hear.
In the social media reaction genre, silly comments are considered especially heinous. At Dear Woke Christian, the dedicated content creators who investigate these horrible comments are members of an elite squad known as the Dusty Comments Unit. At Dear Woke Christian.
Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. And you know what we're about to do. I have been truly enjoying watching the Democrats melt down about Doge and Elon Musk calling for a deep dive into how they're spending money. It just seems hilarious. Now, I'm going to explain why I say that the Democrats are acting like cheating boyfriends in a moment. But first, we got to bring you up to speed. So we brought the living brat doll in to talk about it, Miss Jasmine Crockett. Shout out to those eyelashes. And let's listen to Jasmine's eyelashes explain what she's all about. You've probably seen this one, so let's not waste any time, Jason. Let's get at it.
I'm gonna try my best not to preach.
Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you, because every day that we show up in DC, we show up for you. We know who we work for. We know that we work for the American people. And what we're not going to do is stand around while they pull this bullshit that they're trying to pull right now. This is why I'm not going to be able to preach, because I probably won't be able to stop cussing. But let me tell y'all something. I know some of y'all have been frustrated, and you've been saying, where are the Democrats? Where are our leaders? Well, I'm here to tell you that we ain't never left y'all. All right? We are here. We are also going to make sure that they uphold the law. We are not going to sit around while you go ahead and desecrate our Constitution, or you look at the laws that have been passed into law and say, never mind, we'll just ignore that. Instead, we are going to be in your face, we are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it. So let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You're going to learn a few lessons from us. And I'm going to be the first one. You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out, all right? Now, let me be clear. What Maxwell said is true. Our job is to conduct oversight. We both serve on the oversight committee. And right now, as elected leaders who tried to go in, we were told, well, hold on a second. We got to check to see if you can come in. Now, y'all know he likes to pal around with Putin, right? He's trying to turn us into Russia. But I got news for him. We, the people, will not go. It's cold out here. And y'all, yeah, we won't go. We won't go. We won't go. We won't go. Listen, the final thing I'm going to say is there are those that have said that we may face a constitutional crisis. I want you to know that the crisis is here. I want you to know that the power belongs to the people, though, y'all. Do not feel powerless. In this moment, as the vice president said as she conceded the election, she said, dark times may be ahead of us. But she said, it's only in the darkness that we can see the stars. I am telling you right now that the stars are right here. It is time for us to shine. It is time for us to be heard. It is time for us to make sure that they know we will not go.
Stunning and brave. Thank you so much, Eyelashes. We appreciate you giving us that insight and wisdom. What is all this about? What is all of this huggabaloo about? What are they resisting? What are they fighting? What are they protesting about? The fact that they're being caught funneling money to various and sundry outside the border, funneling money inside the border. They are being caught doing what they say that they're not doing, they should not be doing, which is basically mishandling funds. So let me bring in a TikToker. You know, shout out to TikTok. TikTok comes in and comes in clutch every now and then. I think it's kind of crazy, but you know, shout out to TikTok. Let's give it some credit. Let me bring this in, and I want to hear what you all think about it as I do this correctly. There we go. All right, let's go. Let's go.
Boyfriends right now. I'm sorry, but somebody's got to say it. I'm independent. I think there's good ideas on both sides. There's bad ideas on both sides. But what this Doge audit is reminding me of is like a girl taking her boyfriend's phone and like hiding in the bathroom. And the Democrats are just banging on the door. And they're like, you are invading my privacy. You can't go through my phone. And Elon Musk is like, yes, I can. I can see what you've been up to. And then every time Musk comes out of the bathroom, he's like, look, see what you did? They just turn it around and they're like, you invaded my privacy. This was your fault. You broke my trust. Democrats are acting like cheating boyfriends right now. I'm sorry, but somebody's got to say it. I'm independent. I think there's good ideas on both sides. There's bad ideas on both sides. But what this Doge audit is reminding me of is like a girl taking her boyfriend's phone and like hiding in the bathroom. And the Democrats are just banging on the door. And they're like, you are invading my privacy. You can't go through my phone. And Elon Musk is like, yes, I can. I can see what you've been up to. And then every time Musk comes out of the bathroom, he's like, look, see what you did? They just turn it around and they're like, you invaded my privacy. This was your fault. You broke my trust. Democrats are acting like.
So I just wanted to bring that in. I thought she did a great job of summarizing that as a cheating boyfriend that's banging on the door. So we're watching Jasmine Crockett and her eyelashes and all of them banging on the door saying, you can't look at my phone. And the girlfriend or Doge or the American people are like, yes, we can. And we can see that you're cheating. We can see that you're misusing funds. We can see that you're not being faithful to what we ask you to do with the budget. So I just thought it was fun. I thought that you would get something out of it. Let me know what you think down below. And again, thank you, every last one of you all who've liked the video, who've shared the video and the content, engaged in this, and helped me hit my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And so with no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, grace and peace. For deal, smash it, for the smash. Sham such for deal, for deal, smash it, for the smash. Just smash. It's a life for deal, Did anybody notice the outro and the intro are broken? Wonder what happened there. I guess we'll have to find out. Everybody, I want to say thanks so much, y'all. Okay, I don't think Elon is coming back tonight. I really don't. I don't think E Boogie is coming. Have you ever asked why she shouts so loud? It's because she doesn't want you to think or ask questions. She doesn't like you having a clue on your own. She's never against evil acts, just Trump. George, this is a fantastic comment. I hate to say this, but no, I don't hate to say it. I'm just telling you. I've been addicted to body cam footage for like the last month. I've been watching body cam footage. Man, I'm embarrassed to think how many body cam videos I've watched. And something I've noticed about particular people is when they get in trouble, it's like a defense mechanism to get very, very loud and bombastic. Some people say that she acts masculine like a man, but it doesn't look right because it's a woman. But it does, if that makes sense. But Jasmine Crockett in my opinion, uses that loud talk, that bombastic talk. And there's a couple other people in the Senate and Congress and representatives who do the same thing. But it's a defense mechanism, and they use it to kind of try to dominate or try to position themselves in a place of power by just being this ridiculous, completely ridiculous. And we watched it. We've seen Jasmine do this a lot. And if you ever watch body cam footage, if you watch 20 of them, you'll be like, I know exactly what Jason's talking about. It's like a strategy. If I get loud and just I won't let you talk, I'm over talking you. If you ever watched her in a heated discussion, it's clear as day. She doesn't have control of her emotions. She doesn't have control of her, especially when she gets out over her skis. When she's in trouble, man, it gets just ridiculous. So to your point, George, I think it's part of her defense mechanism, coping mechanism, and the fact that she knows that she's not in the right. Those people know they're not right. They know they're wrong. And so by being loud, being bombastic, being all aggressive, being masculine, if you will, that it does lend itself. Is Trump back? Are they back?
He decided to go to the White House instead. I don't know why.
Okay, pull it up. Let's go. He went to the White House. Okay, he said, hey, I'll let y'all tomorrow.
Let me unmute it. I'm sorry, my mouse isn't working.
In the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened at USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, say, if you look at, say Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place, that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment categorization code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So you can't reconcile blank checks. You've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly absurd, a do not pay list, which can take up to a year for an organization to get on a do not pay list. And this, we're talking about terrorist organizations, we're talking about known fraudsters, known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation, can take up to a year to get on the list. And even once on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing. So what we're talking about here, we're really just talking about adding common sense controls that should be present, that haven't been present. So you say, like, well, how could such a thing arise? That seems crazy. When you understand that really everything is geared towards complaint minimization, so then you understand the motivations. So if people receive money, they don't complain, obviously. But if people don't receive money, they do complain. And the fraudsters complain the loudest and the fastest. So then when you understand that, then it makes sense. Oh, that's why everything they approve all the payments at Treasury. Because if you approve all the payments, you don't get complaints. But now we're saying that, no, actually, we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent. Why is that? Like, it's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical. I think it's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it. So, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's a case where, like, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there's a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, like, why is there no identifying information? Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. I'll tell you another crazy thing. So, you know, one of the things is like we are trying to sort of right-size the federal bureaucracy, just make sure that this obviously there needs to be a lot of people working for the federal government, but not as many as currently. So we're saying, well, okay, well, let's if people can retire, you know, with full benefits and everything, that would be good. They can retire, get their retirement payments, everything. And then we were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we were told the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And like, what do you mean a mine? Like, yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. It looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down and then sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we take those people and say, like, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to, you know, boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else. And you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, so I think, you know, that's an example. Like at a high level, if you say, like, how do we increase prosperity? Is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles. And so you increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone. That's the actual goal. Everyone's very quiet. Well, there should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, that, you know, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization. So, you know, and the kind of things we're doing are, I think, very, very simple and basic. They're not, you know, what I mentioned, for example, about Treasury, just making sure that payments that go out, taxpayer money that goes out, is categorized correctly, that the payment is explained, that organizations on the do not pay list, which takes a lot to get there, that actually are not paid, which currently they are paid. These are not individual judgment decisions. These are about simply having sensible checks and balances in the system itself to ensure that taxpayer money is spent well. So it's got nothing to do with, like, say, a contract with some company of mine at all.
But if there is a conflict of interest when it comes to you yourself, for instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts. When it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president, I know, has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say, like, wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, you know, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately, you know?
Including you yourself.
Yes. But transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And then you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area. If we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watched that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this. Now, one thing also that Elon hasn't really mentioned are the groups of people that are getting some of these payments. They're ridiculous. And we're talking about billions of dollars that we've already found. We found fraud and abuse. I would say those two words as opposed to the third word that I usually use, but in this case, fraud and abuse. It's abusive because most of these things are virtually made up, or certainly money shouldn't be sent to them. And you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. So, but we're talking about tens of billions of dollars that we've already found. And now a judge who's an activist judge wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? Why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish. As an example, a man has a contract for 3 months and the contract ends, but they keep paying him for the next 20 years, because nobody ends a contract. You got a lot of that. You have a contract that's a 3-month contract. Now, normally, if you're in a small, in all fairness, it's the size of this thing is so big. Yeah. But if you have a contract and you're in a regular business, you end the contract in 3 months, it's a consultant. Here's a contract for 3 months, but it goes on for 20 years. And the guy doesn't say that he got money for 20 years, they don't say it. They just keep getting checks month after month. And you have various things like that. And even much worse than that, actually, much worse. And I guess you call that incompetence, maybe. Yeah. It could be corruption. It could be a deals made on both sides, where the guy gets some money, he kicks. I think there's a lot of kickback here. I see a lot of kickback here.
There's a lot of kickbacks.
A tremendous kickback, because nobody could be so stupid to give out some of these contracts. So he has to get a kickback. So that's what I got elected for, that and borders and military and a lot of things, but this is a big part of it. And I hope that the court system is going to allow us to do what we have to do. We got elected to among other things, find all of this fraud, abuse, all of this horrible stuff going on. And we've already found billions of dollars, not like a little bit, billions, many billions of dollars. And when you get down to it, it's going to be probably close to $1 trillion. It could be close to $1 trillion that we're going to find. That will have quite an impact on the budget. And you'll go to a judge where they handpick a judge and he has certain leanings. I'm not knocking anybody for that, but he has certain leanings. And he wants us to stop looking. How do you stop looking? I mean, we've already found it. We have a case in New York where a hotel has paid $59 million, $59 million because it's housing migrants, illegal migrants, all illegal, I believe.
And they were being paid twice the normal room rate at 100% occupancy.
Unbelievable.
So it's a racket.
Mr. Musk, can I ask a question?
Well, if I may sort of just going for the president's comments, at a high level, say, well, what are the two ingredients that are really necessary in order to cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1 trillion? And it's really two things: competence and caring. And if you add competence and caring, you'll cut the budget deficit in half. But with the support of the president, we can cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1. And then with deregulation, because there's a lot of sort of regulations that don't ultimately serve the public good. We need to free the builders of America to build. And if we do that, that means I think we can get the economic growth to be maybe 3-4%, maybe 5%. And that means if you can get $1 trillion of economic growth and you cut the budget deficit by $1 trillion, between now and next year, there is no inflation. There's no inflation in 26. And if the government is not borrowing as much, it means that interest costs decline. So everyone's, the mortgage, the car payment, their credit card bills, anything, their student debt, the monthly payments drop. That's a fantastic scenario for the average American. I mean, imagine they're going down the grocery aisle and the prices from one year to the next are the same, and their their mortgage, all their debt payments dropped. How great is that for the average American?
We had
That's
no
what we're
idea. We had no idea we were going to find this much, and it's open. It's not like complicated. It's
not that
simple stuff.
complicated.
It's
Just
like
a lot of work.
You
Yeah.
can't believe it. A lot of work, a lot of smart people involved. Very, very smart people. But you're talking about anywhere maybe $500 billion. It's crazy the kind of numbers you're
It is really
talking
crazy.
about. You know, normally when you're looking at something, you'll find you're looking for 1 out of 100. Here, you're almost reversing it. You look for one that's good.
Yeah.
And you can look at the title and you say, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And the public gets it. You know, the public gets it. You've seen the polls. The public is saying, why are we paying all this money? This for years, this has gone on. Yeah, go ahead. Wait, go ahead.
Senator Rand Paul today said that DOGE cuts will ultimately need a vote in Congress. Do you agree with that? Is that the plan?
I really don't know. I know this. We're finding tremendous fraud and tremendous abuse. If I need a vote of Congress to find fraud and abuse, it's fine with me. I think we'll get the vote, although there'll be some people that wouldn't vote. And how could a judge want to hold us back from finding all of this fraud and finding all of this incompetence? Why would that happen? Why would even Congress want to do that? Now, Congress, if we do need a vote, I think we'd get a very easy vote because we have a track record now. We've already found billions of dollars of abuse, incompetence, and corruption. A lot of corruption.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you
Well,
comply?
I
with that
always
order?
abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum. And it gives crooked people more time to cover up the books. You know, if a person's crooked and they get caught, other people see that, and all of a sudden it becomes harder later on. So, yeah, the answer is I always abide by the courts, always abide by them, and will appeal. But appeals take a long time, and I would hope that a judge, if you go into a judge and you show him, here's a corrupt situation, we have a check to be sent, but we found it to be corrupt. Do you want us to send this corrupt check to a person, or do you want us not to give it and give it back to the taxpayer? I would hope a judge would say, don't send it, give it back to the taxpayer.
Yeah, if I can add to that, what we're finding is that a bunch of the fraud is not even going to Americans. So I think we can all agree that if there's going to be fraud, it should at least go to Americans. But a bunch of the fraud rings that are operating in the United States and taking advantage of the federal government, especially in the entitlements programs, are actually foreign fraud rings. They're operating in other countries and actually exporting money to other countries. We should stop that. And this is big numbers. Talk about $100 to $200 billion a year. Serious money.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact check this, apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about. And that is really an enormous number of condoms, if you think about it. If it went to Mozambique instead of Gaza, I'm like, okay, that's not as bad, but still, why are we doing that?
Mr. Musk, can you talk a little bit about how closely you're working with agency heads as you're directing these cuts? Do they have how much input do agency heads have when you're making these decisions?
Yeah, we work closely with the agency heads, there are sort of checks in place. So it's not just us just going in and doing things willy-nilly. It's in partnership with the agency heads, and I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president wants to have happen. So we talk almost every day, and I double check things to make sure, is this something, Mr. President, you want us to do this? Then we'll do it.
You
USAID has been one of your main targets. Are you concerned at all that some of the cuts or that shutting that agency altogether may lead to diseases or other bigger problems starting in other countries that then come to the United States?
Yeah, so that's an interesting example. So that's something where we work closely with the State Department and Secretary Rubio. And we have, for example, turned on funding for Ebola prevention and for HIV prevention. Yes, correct. And we are moving fast, so we will make mistakes, but we'll also fix the mistakes very quickly.
Do you see it as a worthy cause, USAID?
I think that there's some worthy things, but overall, if you say what was the bang for the buck, I would say it was not very good. And there was far too much of what USAID was doing was influencing elections in ways that I think were dubious and do not stand the light of day.
I mean, just as a follow-up to the Pentagon contracts, if you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, in the
where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know, because every one of them was.
The president said the other day that you might look at treasuries. Could you explain that a little bit? What kind of fraud, and that question goes to both of you, what kind of fraud are you expecting to see or do you see right now in U.S. treasuries?
I think you mean the Treasury Department as opposed to Treasury bills, or.
You also referenced treasuries on Air Force One the other night.
Go ahead.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, really the first order of business is to make sure we're actually collecting. Sorry for this. I thought my son might enjoy this, but he's sticking his fingers in my ears and stuff. So it's been hard to hear sometimes. Hey, stop that. No, the stuff we're doing with Treasury Department is so basic that you can't believe it doesn't exist already. So for example, it's like, what type of payment is this? You can't just leave the field blank. Currently, many payments, the field is left blank. And you have to describe what's the payment for, some basic rationalization. That also is left blank. So this is why, the Pentagon, when's the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? I mean, a decade ago, maybe? Ever? Really? And we want to just, in order to actually pass audits, you have to have financial information that allows you to trace the payments. And once in a while, the Treasury has to pause payments if it thinks the payment is going to a fraudulent organization. Like, if you get on that payment, the do not pay list, it means that this is someone that is just, it's like dead people, terrorists, known fraudsters, that kind of thing. We should not pay them. But currently we do, which is crazy. We should stop that.
Many transactions. And by the way, 100 team. And for the sake of the country, I hope that the person that's in charge and the other people that report to me that are in charge are allowed to do the right thing, namely make sure everything's honest, legitimate, and competent. But we're looking at just, when you look at USAID, that's one. We're gonna look at the military, we're gonna look at education. They're much bigger areas, but the USAID is really corrupt. I'll tell you, it's corrupt. It's incompetent and it's really corrupt. And I can't imagine a judge saying, well, it may be corrupt, but you don't have the right. You got elected to look over the country and to, as we say, make America great again, but you don't have the right to go and look and see whether or not things are right that they're paying or that things are honest that they're paying. And nobody can even believe this. Other people, law professors, right away, you're supposed to be running the country, but we're not allowed to look at who they're paying it to and what they're paying. We have massive amounts of fraud that we caught. I think we probably caught way over a lot of billions of dollars already in what, 2 weeks?
Yes.
And it's going to go to numbers that you're not going to believe. And much, as I said, much is incompetence and much is dishonesty. We have to catch it. And the only way we're going to catch it is to look for it. And if a judge is going to say you're not allowed to look for it, that's pretty sad for our country. I don't understand how it could even work.
Sir, program, can you personally guarantee that?
Which one?
The buyout program, the operative federal workers. Can you personally guarantee that the workers who opt
but they're getting a good deal. They're getting a big buyout. And what we're trying to do is reduce government. We have too many people. We have office space. It's occupied by 4%. Nobody's showing up to work because they were told not to. And then Biden gave them a 5-year pass, some of them, 48,000 of them, gave them a 5-year pass that for 5 years, you don't have to show up to work. And let me tell you, this is largely, much of this stuff is because of Biden. It's his fault. He allowed this country, what he did on our border. What he did on our border is almost not as bad as what he did with all of these contracts that have come out. It's a very sad day when we look at it. I can't even believe it. But many contracts just extend and they just keep extending, and there was nobody there to correct it. And that cannot be, I can't imagine that could be held up by the court. Any court that would say that the president or his representatives, like Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of State, whatever, doesn't have the right to go over their books and make sure everything's honest. I mean, how can you have a country? You can't have anything that way. You can't have a business that way. You can't have a country that way. Hey, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Head out.
Coming back tonight. Mark Vogel will be at the White House tonight at about 10 o'clock. If you want to come over, you can say hello to him.
Did you guys get anything in return?
Not much. No, they were very nice. We were treated very nicely by Russia, actually. I hope that's the beginning of a relationship where we can end that war and millions of people can stop being killed. They've lost millions of people. They lost, and I'm interested primarily from the standpoint of death. We're losing all those soldiers, and they're not American soldiers. They're Ukrainian and Russian soldiers. But you're probably talking about 1.5 million. I think we got to bring that one to an end. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're moving.
They're loud. Oh, did you drop it?
Stop asking him the same questions.
Well, yeah, that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. Woo, that was interesting. Hopefully they'll do better tomorrow. I like.
That was a thug move just to drive to the White House and walk up in the Oval Office.
That was different. That was different. All right, let's do this. My good people, at 7 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time, Thornton is having their board meeting. So basically, I got about 2 hours. I want to run a couple of errands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream. What I would like, however, is for you to do me two favors. Let me know what you think about what's going on with the government. So you can comment down below. And of course, make sure you hit the like button if you didn't already hit the like button. I want to say thank you, Mandy, so much for running this and getting this going while I was starting the day. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No problem.
I will gladly take over the rest of the night and cause chaos and shenanigans. I probably will not be pulling up any videos of Bratz dolls and saying they look like Jasmine Crockett, but I cannot promise you that. Thank y'all, everybody who's helped me hit my goal of 50,000 by the end of the month, by the end of April, please forgive me. And also this month, I'm trying to get 500,000 views. I figured that'd be a great goal. Last month, we hit well over what we wanted to hit. So I want to say thank y'all for that. Let's get at it again real soon. So I'll see you all in about 2 hours. Good gracious, man. I'll see y'all in about 2 hours. Everybody, thank you so much. Oh, real quick, thank you again to Amethyst Angel for being the stream sponsor. I appreciate your very kind super chats and the such like that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And to all of my members, I appreciate you because you help fund this thing that's going on. And I got a surprise for you real soon. So let's do this one. I think you'll enjoy it. Everybody, I'll see you all real soon. Grace and
Yo, hit that like for deal Christian. Yo, for deal Christian. Smash it, baby, for DWC. Smash. Got it. Sham such for deal Christian. For deal Christian. Smash it, baby, for DWC. Smash. Just smash. Hit that like for deal Christian.